Yo, 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 yo. Good morning, everybody. I hope your week has been fantastic and that you're ready for the weekend because it is Friday. And we love a Friday. Flex and James here in the studio looking after things as it goes out live. Yes, we're live. Yes. And we have Leanne joining us in a short while. Mashi Futi will be with us. We haven't had Mash here for a couple of weeks. We've also got two other guests popping in. We're going to find out how to invest differently and smartly. We're also going to speak to somebody who's had enough of South African politics, and he wants to have his say, and we thought, you know what? What better place than this? So we're going to talk about all of that and more. What do I have for you? Well, we've got Dr. Hanan, among other things. If you haven't already noticed, and maybe you have if you are on the channel, that's the Real Network channel, you would have seen that we have got a new show called Say Less with none other than Pearl Tusi. Yes, the famous Pearl Tusi. She and her daughter Tando are here. It's brought to you by the Real Network. All the drama, all the crazy. It's every Thursday at 3 in the afternoon. That's when we release the episode. But you know what? For you, we make it a plan. You can watch it right now. You can go watch it. Well, if you want to watch it instead of this show, fine. I suppose you're allowed to do that. You don't have to stay. We're not forcing you. You're not kept here at gunpoint. And welcome to everybody in the comments section who I see have been very, very busy. We hardly spoke to the comments section last week. I don't know if you noticed. Maybe you guys were just boring last week, but they're back with flame and fire today. Good morning from the UK, says Elizabeth. She says, I am back in 5 days. Can't wait, counting down the days like a child. Well, you're getting out of there just in time because you know what they're going to do if they're going to be doing in Britain soon. Do you know what they're going to be doing?
What they be doing?
Keir Starmer wants to look at me like that.
What they going to be doing to beaten?
What
they going to be doing to be
Keir
beaten?
Starmer, Prime Minister Keir Starmer, wants to put in digital IDs. So if you are a person in Britain, you're going to have a little digital ID which will follow you everywhere you go and will be identifiable to police in case you say something mean on social media, and they can arrest you really easily.
It's not implanted in your skin, is it?
No,
because
but
that would be Revelations and the end of the world, the rapture.
But we're like 2 seconds away from that in Britain. I just don't know how anyone in Britain's putting up with this shit. Just don't. Is Britain still a free country?
You know, because of my e-tag,
Oh yeah.
I would have already.
Of course you would have. You would have had the digital ID inserted up your rectum already. I know what you're like. Leanne is such a rule follower.
I'm very conformist.
Have you still got that e-tag on your car?
No, I ripped it out eventually. I have the one.
How long did it take you to realize you were being ripped off?
I still Googled, can I take it out? Once the actual formalities had ended.
You're the kind of citizen that the government relies on to do the right thing.
Still paying my TV license.
I know.
Don't watch the TV.
I'm one to talk because I paid that TV. Well, I paid some of it. Now they won't let me go. I made a terrible mistake. I should never have done it. In a moment of weakness, I became you. And now my life
Thanks
is
for the compliment.
And now my life is forever fucked.
I do have a late notice, though. I'm late on my TV license.
Oh, really?
That I don't watch.
Have they told you that they're coming to collect your stuff?
And then eventually they phone me and they catch me. And then I say, when you're honest on these phone calls and you go, oh, I don't even watch the fucking TV.
Yeah, and then what do they say?
And they go, I'm sorry, ma'am, would you like to cancel your subscription? Yes, I would. Well, then you're going to have to follow this process. But first you have to pay.
Oh.
Happens every year.
Oh. Someone asked me yesterday, they're like, what are you going to be doing for the rugby on Saturday? And I thought, there's rugby on Saturday?
Number one.
If Ben wasn't here on a Friday, I wouldn't know what was going on. And then I realized my TV hasn't been on since probably about June.
Okay, yeah. So for me, it's been about a year since I sat in my lounge.
Yeah.
In my TV room.
Right.
Because there was a rain spider once.
Oh, is that... So you just haven't gone into that room at all?
I haven't.
Do you have to cross through it?
No.
So you just close the
I
door and
bypass it. So now
it's like
I
Miss
live
Havisham in the attic in the rocking chair, and
my
the rest of the house is under her
lounge
sheets.
area is the biggest part of my cottage.
Right. This is what you're paying for, by the way.
It's what I'm paying for. But I now live in the bedroom, the kitchen, and the bathroom for a year. For a year. Unless somebody comes in and turns every piece of furniture upside down, I'm not sitting in that room.
Jesus, that's bad. All right, well, let's stop worrying about ourselves being the worst citizens in the country because somebody here says, Bitcoin Bot says, did you see Kenny Kunene kidnap Sam Oak in a macro parking? Do you know anything about this?
No?
James, Flex, do we know anything about Kenny Kunene kidnapping someone in a macro parking? Or has Bitcoin Bot finally hit the ceiling? Yeah, they're trying to get him back into the candidacy for Joburg, which is obviously hotting up. A couple of people, not a lot of people, it has to be said, but a couple of people said to me, oh, did you see
Yeah.
Anele and Helen?
Yeah.
And this passes for something exciting in South African media now.
Yes.
This mild kind of ridicule of Anele has passed for some people as the most exciting media interview of the year, which shows you that
We've got not much to go on.
well, they're still listening to radio, hoping it's going to be exciting, which I've got to warn you, it's not.
So do we talk about it?
Sure, I had to watch it because
Yeah.
I knew
had
it
to
would
watch
come
the
up.
whole thing on YouTube.
Oh, you watched the
because-
whole thing? No, I just saw it.
I know. So I was getting clips, and then someone said, "This is out of context. You need to watch the whole thing."
All right, so then
I ended up watching the
you
whole
tell
thing.
me what happened because I don't care enough.
I think Anele is an amazing broadcaster. I always have. I've always held a very special
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
space
she's
for
a
her.
great entertainer.
Yeah,
I'll say the same thing. Yeah.
not a journalist.
No,
And some people are saying this is bad journalism of her.
She's not a
I'm like,
journalist.
but she's not a journalist.
also if you are going to what is it called their show, Anela's show on
And the
What?
club, the club.
Anela and the Club. If you're going to that show for your political information,
Exactly. So this is a younger audience. Well, remember when we were at 5FM, it was like the old people's show. But it is a younger audience, and it's not about. Look, they're factually correct. They do their thing, but it's opinions and it's entertainment. It's competition
and,
listening to the
I
sound
just-
of the city.
I wonder
and-
if that producer knows that it's a good idea to have a smart political operator like Helen Ziller on, who's not going to just do a stupid game on the show or
We had
answer
her on,
questions.
remember?
Yeah, we've had Helen on before, but she's there. She's a serious person, you know. So
Yes.
you have to meet her smart with your smart.
Yes.
And the clip I saw, which was not long, it doesn't make Anela look good. So I don't know why they put that out because it was them. It wasn't the DA that put that clip out. It makes Anela look stupid.
It ended up being, from Anele's side, a bit of a questioning about race and black and
Yes,
versus
obviously,
white,
but that's always the last stop
where
when
that
you're out of
wasn't
ideas.
wasn't the point. It was
No.
about rich versus poor.
It isn't even about that. Like Joburg people are just sick to death. I don't live in Joburg anymore, but people who
Well,
live
you
in
haven't
Joburg.
for a long
No,
time.
I live in Tshwane, which is probably in some ways worse. But Joburg people have to put up with a lot of shit. The point is, you got Kenny Kunene, which is why this came up, and the PA say they could even leave the government of national unity if he's not allowed to run as Joburg mayoral candidate. That was Gayton McKenzie this week. You've got Helen Ziller. I think maybe the ANC going to go with Dada Morero, even though he's been almost as bad as, remember the Nyaupe mayor? Remember that guy? Like from what
Yeah.
party was he? Like
Some stupid party.
some like terribly stupid party that everyone should be hugely embarrassed about. And the guy was like, he was a like Nyaupe dealer, right? You remember him?
It's
You
like-
remember that guy?
the equivalent of the Kiss party.
Yeah, he was so bad. That guy was he was totally useless.
Listen, whoever's and this is Anele was right about something,
Yeah.
and that's the confusion about when you have something going wrong on roads or whatever, and you phone it in,
Yeah.
and it's like, no, that's provincial, or that's
Oh, God.
that's local.
Right.
That's we actually don't know the difference. There's a lot of confusion. But whoever designed this new road system on Catherine through
it's so-
Stanton,
So Ben complains about it
I
every week.
actually don't
Yeah.
understand.
I think you must complain now. You get your turn to complain about it because this is the cuckest idea I have ever seen in my
For
life.
one
Guys,
road.
do you also have to drive along Catherine? You obviously do. It's the only entrance to here. What a stupid, stupid arrangement.
Where you could turn right before you can't turn right anymore.
It's so
Where
dumb.
you had 3 lanes, you now have 1. It's pathetic.
It's so dumb. And there's
I was
never anyone
stuck.
in the bus lane.
I was stuck between 3 buses, a taxi, a car, and a cyclist today.
And this is at
thought
5 a.m.
I thought my uterus was falling out. It would have been easier to compute a uterus falling out than what I had to take this
Yeah.
route.
Oh, my God. All right, so here we go. We've got some opinions here. Signet says, my opinion is that Anele was not the right person for a political debate with Helen. Anele does other things, not politics. Lindy says, Lindy Ntuli, from what I've seen, I'm ready to move to Tshwane. Action SA is cleaning up. Even the CBD looks good. Apparently, it's Action SA that Tshwane has to thank for some pool that was cleaned the other day. I mean,
nice.
slim pickings, but because our municipalities are run so badly, we'll take the small wins, right? Small wins, we'll take them. So if that's the case, then, I mean, I'll be the first one to congratulate Action SA. But
I think you should.
I don't
you
know.
should go and film yourself swimming in it.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely, Leanne. I'm such a.
It's
I'm
just up
such
your
a,
street.
I'm such a political operator and major political influencer that would be the thing I would do. Joburg and PE, according to Patrick, have one thing in common: uncomfortable amount of mayors, and both cities' infrastructure is fucked. Yeah. Judith says it was news to me to find out that radio stations run Johannesburg and that Anele speaks for all
Yeah.
black people.
There was a very big thing that came out of there. I think I need to rewatch it, but it was something.
You
along
want to
the
watch it a
lines
second time?
to get this fact right, because I thought about
Would
this.
punish yourself.
And I thought I'm going to get it wrong, but there was a part where it was something about Anele saying, "But we control and run Johannesburg from the studio."
I'm sure she was kidding. There's no way she really believes that.
No, it was a little bit orcs.
Really? Oh, shit. Okay.
It was like
Yeah, but you see also
that
this
sense
is,
of power that you
yeah,
have.
it's a bubble. She's living in a bit of a bubble. And also, I mean, Judith says here that Anele doesn't speak for all black people. They need to continue focusing on doing their game shows and not getting involved in politics. Hey, listen, radio stations have a right to ask politicians questions.
Yeah, of course.
And if they end up looking bad because the politician's smarter than them, and an incident which hardly ever occurs in South Africa, I might add.
Also
I mean,
true.
usually it's the media people who make the politicians look bad.
Yeah.
You have to really choose the wrong person on the wrong day in order to make the media person look bad. And that's all I have to say about it. I really just don't think it's that interesting.
I saw.
really don't.
I think it was the Sowetan Live. I think Helen might have gone. I think Anele's is a morning show, so she might have gone to Sowetan Live after that. She was wearing the same outfit in this
Right.
clip.
Maybe she
And
only got
was
the
in a
one outfit.
She was in a completely different mood,
Yeah.
and it made me realize she's gone from one to the other. She was completely rattled. Was she though? She was.
No,
she
she's
act-
not.
She
She's
wasn't
just-
even rattled.
She's as cool as ice.
Yeah, and then
I've got to say
went to
this.
this other podcast, and she was absolutely fine.
You know, maybe we'll interview Helen. Maybe we won't on this show. I don't think so. The way the show's going now, I want to stay well away from politics as much as I possibly can because I find politics in South Africa super, super stupid. And I think so to the audience. But if you guys want us to do it, we can. Helen is an older lady now. She's in her
74.
right. She's in her 70s. I think that's about the age, or round about the age of my parents, right? And here she is. She's going to take on a job for 4 years as mayor of Joburg if she wins. I don't care if you really hate Helen Zille, and maybe you found new reasons to hate her. There are old reasons for some people. I just have to say that a 74-year-old has got to have such fire in her belly to take on what I mean, if you paid me R1 million a day, I wouldn't be mayor of Joburg. What an awful job. Can you imagine going into the CBD of Joburg every day to try and fix that clusterfuck? And you're in your 70s and you're like, haven't I done enough for South Africa? That would be my attitude. I don't know how she's doing it. So whether you like Helen, you like her politics, you believe in her, you don't, you like the DA or you do or don't, I am just absolutely blown away by the fact that someone at that age has the energy to do this. I think it's tremendous. I mean, the same could go for, Trump in America, and he's approaching his 80s, if not there already. These are phenomenal people, and I do think it would be nice if some younger people stood up and were counted. I think it would be great for the country if we had younger and smarter leaders in many places. But let's give credit where it's due.
Nothing can replace experience.
I do think you're right. I think it's a valuable comment to make.
And I think she's very, very fortunate. I don't know what she's done in her physical life. She's very fortunate to be as physically and mentally fit as she is.
Are you kidding? She does. She's a CrossFitter.
Really?
I don't know.
Seen her throwing tires around, tractor tires. She's fortunate to be in that
she's
position.
pushing those tractor tires at the gym.
And chains.
Is
wow.
Helen the right person for the job? Says the producers on the poll this morning. So you can go and vote hell yeah, no. Bring back the Nyaope mayor, or it's time for their youth. Their youth. It is time for their youth. All right, so you can go and vote. There's the Nyaope mayor. Look at that guy. He looks like such a tsotsi, hey?
Yo, you can't trust that one, hey?
Jesus. Okay, speaking of which, I got some funny shit for you, Leanne. Let's take a look at some of this. James, bring up all the good shit that I sent you this week. Let's start off with you and I often laugh about names and pronouncing names properly.
Yeah.
South Africa's we've got 11 official languages, so we've got lots and lots of really cool names that people struggle to pronounce, and it's funny watching them get stuck. But Nigerian names are the winners.
They're superior.
And you've got to start with this guy. And I know you've got a good ear for this, so maybe with your pen and paper, you can get ready to take this one down. Let's hit this one, guys. Let's start everybody on the right foot this morning.
That's good. So, where are you from?
Where are you from?
Yes.
I'm from Edo State.
Edo State. Okay, interesting. So, what is your name?
My name?
Yes, your name.
My name is Ovuvwe Enyetuenwe Osas.
Pardon? Come again.
Ovuvwe Enyetuenwe Osas.
I mean, what is your name? Your name, Afagi.
Now my name I call for you now.
Call it again.
Ovuvwe Enyetuenwe Osas.
Spell them.
I don't spell them.
That be your name. I don't spell them.
If you don't say we no go school now. If you help me spell them.
Okay. I come again. I help you spell them.
Ovuvwe Enyetuenwe Osas.
Jesus. How would they spell that for you?
Ovuvwe Enyetuenwe Osas.
Where was that from?
Simple. It's very simple now.
Where was that from?
Why they cry now?
Call him again.
I know they make you cry.
Call him again.
How many times I will call the name for you now? The person spell them before say.
Why you cry?
Something I tried. Listen, I watched that clip maybe 10, 12 times, and I tried really hard to get it. I couldn't get it.
Listen, he's a good-looking guy, firstly.
Oh, okay. Is that what you noticed?
Yeah, he's a very good-looking guy, so that was distracting.
So you'd remember his name?
I actually forgive him. I forgive I would
All right,
take his first
okay.
name as my surname.
Oh, you would? Okay, there we go. So Leanne's looking for a husband in what Igbo state or whatever. All right, let's go to this one because there's a South African girl who also it's really it comes down to the spelling, and some people can't spell, but not this woman. She knows exactly how her name is spelled, and she'll tell you if you ask.
Joburg is full of characters, joined by one of them right about now. My lady, introduce yourself. What is your name?
Conservatious Glamazon with 2 Z's and 3 N's.
She doesn't think it's funny at all. Oh my God. All right. So there's a guy who was interviewed the other day, and I don't know if he was saying a name or what was happening, but I think he has a problem. I think there's a health problem involved. Because listen to this sound. We may have to play this one twice, guys, for people, especially ones who've just eaten their breakfast this morning, and maybe you got a bit of a sensitive stomach.
Oh no.
Have you got this one? Yeah, hit it.
Ungajabula wena mengahle ungajabula wena mengahle ungajabula.
The best is the guy who's interviewing him. His face, he
But
goes,
you know, we deal with that as people, and sometimes it might be right behind you in the queue at the ATM.
Jesus.
It happens.
Jesus, as that guy
Jesus.
said to that other guy in the clip. All right, very good. Don't forget, we've got a new show with Pearl. I mentioned this earlier, but it's already a massive hit.
Pearl and her daughter.
I know, and it's a really, really interesting show. Like, if you want to see intergenerational stuff.
Yeah.
And also, people are always fascinated when someone really well-known and famous like Pearl Tusi, what is the relationship with her and her daughter? How does it work?
It's also fascinating for me because it's me looking back on my life if I'd had a child.
Yeah, you wouldn't have had a child like Tando, though. You would have a terrible child. Yeah, you would have had a child that went...
Oh, Lordy.
So revolting. And I've heard people like that in the shops.
Yeah,
Like near the
definitely. Standing in the queue.
meat section, and they're like...
Yeah.
There was a guy like that. There was a guy with feet the other day. I have
Guy with feet?
no, but the worst...
That's unheard of.
Hang on, Leanne. Let me explain. Like the worst looking feet you've ever seen. When someone has like...
Why did he have his feet out?
He was wearing... Because now it's getting warmer. He was wearing slops. And his...
So he wasn't homeless.
His cracked ankles and heels that were grey. They were grey. And the toenails that went...
So
And
I
were
have
orange.
one skew
Ugh.
toenail, and on a civvies day at school once, I wore these cork platforms, which were all the rage at the time. And this one skew toe, some guy looked at my feet and said, this was at Glen Vista High. He said, check her toe hoist to the right. And I've never forgotten it. I always swore that if I went under surgery, I'd have it fixed.
I have had such great reports from people about Roger Rax, who we had on last week, who's from the South.
Yes.
That oak is fantastic. We're probably going to have him back, but he was great. And I'm getting emails and messages on social media. People just loved him.
I forgot what a proper South accent sounded like.
Oh, really? Because you haven't been there
After
in a while.
Roger.
Right. Yeah.
No, I'm going there on October the 14th.
God, you know it in advance.
Well,
What's the reason?
A friend's child's birthday,
Okay.
a 1-year-old child.
Glen Vista.
To Glen Vista.
All right.
Yeah.
Very nice. No, it was good to have him in here. I think The reason, and I meant what I said on the show on that day. I think the reason that so many people love hearing an authentic human being who's a real South African, comes from a real place. And we're going to be looking for people like that, by the way. So if you have ideas, if you know someone who you think is also just being themselves, they're not trying to put on a show, they're not trying to act, they're not trying to pretend, they're not trying to entertain even. They just are themselves. And those kinds of authenticity are very hard to find these days. You can't. You go on social media now, and trust me, I mean, my algorithm, you've seen the kind of shit it throws up, right? Just those clips I've shown you this morning. And don't get me started on Sylvia, the psychic, who now every week, I don't know, that show must have been on in the 70s. It's like Montel Jordan or something.
I've never seen it until last week.
Yeah. Anyway, it's throwing that shit at me. But when you see half the stuff, I mean, a lot of it is, in my algorithm anyway, very, very funny. But so much of it is just such fake shit. Like there's this, these clips where you could see that they're bad actors and they're acting. People pretending. Like there's this, and this wasn't even porn. I thought maybe it would be porn. But like this girl's pretending that her husband's cheating on her. She's acting.
That's happening. So
and
now,
you know how stupid that shit is?
These people are now paid.
And like the other person's hiding behind the bed.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you only need to watch one of these to know that it's bullshit. But it came up, this is months ago. And I'm like,
so like brands have jumped onto it now.
Just stop.
It's become commercialized and people are being paid.
Why are brands doing this?
Pretend
I'm telling you that this is going to hurt brands in the long run.
And then all of a sudden, the woman who's been abused and is getting divorced brings out her whatever diamond thing that has superpowers.
Oh my
And then it
God.
becomes about this bracelet. And then the whole thing was paid for by this bracelet company.
Oh no.
It's so annoying.
Oh no.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you are in a situation where you've been, caught with some guy, or you've got a baby daddy and he's just not doing his bit. I mean, there's a woman in South Africa. She was caught. This was caught on camera. I don't think this is fake at all. And you can see she's trying to get her baby daddy to be responsible for her kid. We've got an enormous number of people in this country who are registered without a father.
Yeah.
It's upwards of 40-50%.
That is a point that Helen Ziller raised.
All the kids. Yeah, well, I mean, it's true, and that is probably at the root of so much of our trouble. Anyway, this poor woman is trying very hard, and then I did feel a little bit sorry for her, but I also did laugh at this clip. So take a look, and you tell me if I was judgmental.
Sure. There's a lot of emotion going on there.
Yeah, huge. I mean, first the anger, then, I mean.
She'd be good in a police chase.
Yeah, she'd be good on a soap opera.
Yeah,
She'd be great in a soap opera. And I think a lot of people get their emotional cues from soap operas. Again, they're raised very badly.
Yeah,
So they watch TV and they see these people. It's always these women in soap operas who they have these tantrums and collapse,
Yeah,
right?
but it's all of a sudden. It's like, at what point in your emotions do your knees just give way?
And you just you start crying, and it's all just very, very upsetting. All right, well, we do have some serious things to discuss this morning, and some not so serious things. I see Jimmy Kimmel is back. Everybody was so worried. It was like,
oh my gosh.
Everybody on the left in America was like, oh my God, our First Amendment rights are being attacked. Free speech is dead. Hitler's come. It's the Nazis. It's propaganda, and Goebbels and Goering and Himmler. They shat themselves, all for Jimmy Kimmel, who they all love because they've all been on his show. He's interviewed every celebrity in the world. He's run out of them now. And he wants to do more TV. So guess what? After a 3-day paid vacation, he's back.
Would you want to come back after being under that
Hell no.
spotlight where people have said,
No.
even the president, not that I respect
You got
him, has
very
said
low
he's
ratings.
just not funny.
Yeah, he's not, and he's not. He's really not funny. And then he comes back on, and again, these are clips that I did not want to see, just like the Anela Zilla interview. I was having a perfectly happy public holiday, and someone sent me a clip of Jimmy Kimmel like crying, or fake crying, because I don't believe. You know what? When people get emotional, like the baby mama there that we just saw,
Yeah.
or like Jimmy Kimmel, or when people are arguing with each other and it looks like they're really cross,
Yeah.
I don't believe it anymore. I think so much of it is just done for effect. And
I
I
didn't
also
see
think
him crying.
I think like being emotional is just so pathetic. Like especially when there's when there's a camera around. I mean, do me a
Yes.
favor,
So
you
there
know?
is a guy who I follow on TikTok. I think he might be. Oh, he's a black guy. Okay, I've picked up his
There are a lot of
UK
black guys on
UK
TikTok, right?
accent.
Okay. Oh yeah.
He rips off people who, like girls
cry.
who film their breakup,
Yes.
where they're in the car and they're bent over the steering wheel and
Yeah.
they're like, when the one person you thought you were going to be with for the rest of your life defies you or leaves you. And he's like, how did they film this clip? So
Yeah.
he gets into his car, sets up the camera,
Yeah.
and he's like,
Yeah, I've got to follow him too because I also
and
don't
then
get
you
it.
watch it afterwards, and then
There was
you end up
there was
driving off.
there was a girl on, I think it was also TikTok that made it into my universe somehow. She was complaining that she was so busy she didn't have time to shower. Meanwhile, she made like 4 videos about how busy she was, and everyone figured out except her that this is like a giveaway. Obviously, you have nothing to do because you're making 4 videos and you're claiming you don't have time to shower because you're so overworked.
Which
It's
you
like,
have to set up, edit.
honey, really? I mean, this is this attention-seeking. I think some people have a disease. They have a disease where they cannot get enough attention from strangers. It is their lifeblood. It is all they live for, and it's going to kill them. It is going to take you out. It's going to ruin your life. I'm telling you now. You've got to stop this. If you know people like this, you've got to stop them. And this idea, I saw this guy interviewing a chick who, she was like the typical like blue hair, bull ring in the nose,
And you
fat
love a
like
girl
a
with
tick, and she was
with
standing
hair
there.
that's a strange color.
Yeah, it's always a warning. It's like, poisonous frogs, that kind of thing. And this girl was standing there, and he asked her, like, why would you support Palestine if you're LGBTQ? You know they'll kill you in Palestine. She's like, I know, but, I would never go there. And they're like, well, if you did go there, they would try to kill you. Like, they'd actually kill you. She's like, yeah, but I want to be on the right side of this, and I just want them to know they've got my support. And he's like, you do understand they would throw you off a building. And she's like, yeah, but, it's really important for me to stand up for them. I was like, you're a moron, because obviously you don't understand that your desire to appear as a good person to people who don't know you is so overwhelming that it stops your logical brain from working. And the same thing happens with these emotional people who like have meltdowns on camera. Someone is filming it. Someone needed to have a little bit of warning. If not them, they've probably got a crew and lighting. And I mean, a lot of it is pretty well produced. I don't believe you, is my point.
Yeah.
I just don't believe you. When I hear Jimmy Kimmel crying, pretending that he really feels bad for Charlie Kirk's widow, I'm like, I don't believe you. I just don't believe people on the internet anymore.
No.
Right? If someone says they are really hurt by something, I'm like, you are full of shit. You're doing this for clicks and for likes.
It's like, what's your agenda?
You are
Immediately, what
you're
is
a
your agenda?
pathetic loser who wants people you don't know to pay attention to you. I just don't have time for it. But I'll tell you what I do have time for is Mashi Futhi.
Good morning.
Look at you in your shorts. Huh?
This morning I was contemplating
Look
shorts
at
or
him.
no shorts. It's a bit cloudy.
Well, I'm
but
glad you wore the
showing off.
shorts.
Yes, I was like,
And
it's time
as
to
opposed
heat
to
up.
the no shorts.
Absolutely.
Oh, no, Mash would come here in a Speedo. He loves showing off. You must see his, I noticed a lot on your social media the last couple of days. First of all, happy birthday.
Thank you
for
so
this week.
much.
Ah, is it your birthday?
It was
Milan?
on Monday.
Yeah, Mash got obviously get treated like a king by all of his friends. But I also noticed that you are in trouble again. You've been called a fat shamer again.
Oh, I've been called fatphobic now.
Oh, boy.
Again.
Oh, mash. See, even though you once think you were fat, you weren't really fat. You were like overweight.
I was overweight. I wasn't obese.
They don't forgive you just because you were overweight once.
But my thing is, so I
What if they threaten to do? Eat you?
No, they just threatened to report
What, chase
me.
you? They can't chase you. They're too slow.
Yeah, they threatened to report me. But the thing is, I've been on social media for
They're gonna
years. Lee.
report you.
I know exactly. Before I post something, even if I'm crossing a line or if I'm about to cross a line, I know very well what it takes to cross the line.
Right.
I know all the policies of all the social media networks. It's very
Right.
difficult to report me because I'm always within bounds. I know the bounds of what I'm allowed to do, basically. So I made a video and I basically called. Oh, wait, I feel like the backlash is gonna start again in
Go
the
on.
comments. I said people who are fat are liars. And the reason, and I'm going to explain why I said that. It's not just something that I said out of the
They're
blue.
liars.
It was from my own experience and from watching so much my 600-pound life. And it was because when I was, bigger, I used to lie not only to myself but to other people about what I was eating.
Yeah.
I would post on social media that, I just ate this little plate of food, just one drumstick and some vegetables. Meanwhile, I ate the whole damn pot of vegetables and the whole oven tray of drumsticks. So I was always lying to myself and I was always lying to my audience. And then when it comes to also taking accountability, whenever it came to taking accountability, I'd always be like, I don't know why I'm not losing weight, because I was gymming back then, but I was not losing weight. And I was like, I don't know why, hey? I'm not sure. Like
Must be the
I'm
government.
eating so little.
Yeah, must
and
be.
that's something a lot of overweight people still do
Yeah.
as well.
So, oh gosh. Okay, so you remember a few weeks ago I told you I was diagnosed as diabetic.
Yeah, but you had your gizzard removed or something, didn't you?
No, and that I need to go on
No,
to.
or they pulled out something last
What?
week. Yeah, just last week. Didn't you go in and have something pulled out?
No.
You have things pulled out every other week. I'm sure you did.
I got things put in. I have 2 new hips, but nothing
Two
pulled
new
out.
what?
That's old news, the hips.
Oh, yeah, the hips, yeah.
But no, nothing pulled out.
Can you dance like Shakira yet?
I
with those new
I'm
hips?
able to jump now, which is
Oh,
amazing. I can actually
exciting.
jump again, which is fantastic. I have no pain. I'm ready to go. I'm like a newborn.
You know what we're going to do on the show next week? We're gonna,
Don't laugh,
We're going to
producers.
find... Yeah, it was the producers, Flex and James, laughing at you. How dare they mock
You
you?
laughed when I said I'm like a
How
newborn.
dare they mock you?
Oh, it's a sex thing.
You're almost twice their age. How dare they mock you? Anyway, we're going to find that song from the Pointer Sisters, that jump,
Yeah, I'll jump
from
to
my
that.
love.
But
And we're going
now-
to make you jump.
So remember I said
right,
to you,
James.
so I actually only bought the Ozempic yesterday and I haven't even had my first shot.
Oh, exciting. Are you going to...
What?
Are you going to
'Cause
take
I'm-
us along
I
on
actually
your...
have to take it. It's been prescribed because I'm actually
Yes,
diabetic.
but
Yeah.
are you going to take us along on your journey?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not that selfie person with like the before, like, and then like week 3 is like,
Leanne, you're going
and
to
then
want to
like
do that.
week 6 is like,
No,
and then week 8 is like,
trust me,
Yeah,
you're
with the
going to want to
pants
do
that are-
that.
and then like week 10 is this absolutely skinny, beautiful woman who's like perfect and doesn't look anything. No, I'm not that person.
Yeah, but we're going to see you every week anyway. So whether you like it or not, we're going to be
Yeah, the
posting.
excitement
we're
is gonna
post
take
those
over you.
pictures
No,
for
but
you.
what's funny is that I know what you're talking about with
Yeah.
those liars. I know.
Yes.
And I even have them in my family. I see them. I
Yeah.
know how much chocolate they eat.
yeah.
Honestly, I do not eat a lot. Honestly. And I'm being honest. I'm not even lying.
Yeah.
I don't. I hardly eat. Like people have to remind
Yeah.
me to eat.
Also, you're diabetic, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A compliment for you, Leanne, this morning from Snipes, who says, Leanne, you are glowing.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Slippery Pickle reminding us that drinking Tylenol will send your kids into the special school. Apparently, that was news this week in America
Yeah.
while we're talking about health matters.
Yeah.
So Tylenol is what? It's like a...
It's a paracetamol.
Right. So, I mean, a lot of people will take that when they're not feeling great. And apparently, the Trump administration, I don't know if this comes straight from Bobby Kennedy or one of these doctors that are in the new, Center for Disease Control or whatever, they're saying Tylenol will damage your
Cause
baby.
if you're pregnant, your baby will have autism.
And as I
As
understand
Trump
it,
said it very scientifically, very bad.
yeah.
Wow.
As I understand it, again, I'm not a doctor, and you must speak to your doctor because that's always the best place to start. Everybody's different, and some women who have taken Tylenol because it was maybe the only thing they could have taken for that particular kind of pain or whatever, they're okay, the kid's okay. It really depends from person to person. Your doctor has to know you, and they have to know what's going on. So, again, people, if Trump says something's bad or good, there are a whole bunch of people who will do exactly the opposite just because they don't like Trump. So you had a whole bunch of people in America now who were like knocking back Tylenols just because they hate Donald Trump, which is so stupid.
Okay, I didn't see that far.
Wait, a lot of pregnant people.
Well, maybe some of them as well. I mean, we know that most of the people who don't like Trump also really don't like their own children because most of them are very pro-abortion. So
Yes.
they don't want a fetus to have a good time. We already know that.
Okay, that's
So,
a very, very
yes,
weird statement.
It is the truth. I mean,
but it's a weird
it is
statement.
a weird statement, but maybe they want to give their fetus an extra hard time because they don't like Donald Trump.
I actually watched a video just last night talking about how there's been such a significant increase in autism in children in America in particular.
This is it. If you look at the map of where there are cases of autism, and obviously, you know, there are places in the world where they don't even know what autism is.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not talking about doctors, but I'm talking about people, the society, the ordinary folks in society. They might not know what autism is.
They'll just say you're bewitched, your child is bewitched.
I don't know if
Exactly. So there are still places where
Yeah.
the hand washing message hasn't even come across yet.
Oh, yes.
But
You know
if
what
you
I
look at the
mean?
India.
map, it's North America has by far and away the highest concentration of autism.
Yeah.
It's
But
absolutely
that's diagnosed autism.
well. Is it
The
because
rest of the world's walking around
is it
autism
because I mean transgenderism is also a clearly a North American and U.S. specific thing. It's not as big a deal in Myanmar.
But also nowadays, autism is also like a fashion statement now.
There
Go
we
on
go.
TikTok. Every second
Now
person
Mash is
is
getting
autistic,
closer to the.
and they're all
There we
just
are.
like, oh, my autistic ass, forgetting to do the dishes.
somebody I saw
My autistic
had
ass.
an autism coming out party.
No.
Yes,
You
I
see?
mean, come on. This girl must have been
No.
pre-20. Had a flipping party with
Jesus.
pink balloons and yellow balloons. Yellow for if I'm autistic, because she had a test and the test was being revealed, the results. And pink if I'm not. And she wore yellow because she believes she's autistic.
And
I didn't watch to the end. Are you kidding me?
There's
All
an
right, but-
autism reveal party.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
you know, again, I've said this a million times. What's happening here is you've got a bunch of people who don't have any personality or character.
Where's
and
Dr. Hanan?
They're
I need
trying
him
to,
now.
We're going to get him. These people have no personality or character, so they try to replace it with diseases because then the disease does the hard work for you and people will think you're interesting. And you're not. You're not interesting because you have a disease.
I'm not.
No.
My autistic ass is going to throw a party, an autistic reveal party.
All right, well, you know what? You're in luck because we do have Dr. Hanan on the line. What, 30 seconds?
I can't wait 30 seconds.
Oh my
Are you
God,
kidding
Leanne's
me?
going to melt down. She's on the brink of lunacy here, and you want us to wait for Dr. Hanan? Unbelievable. Anyway, I do see. Oh, by the way, we've got this guy coming in a bit later on. A guy called Robert Bonetto. This guy he's just an ordinary South African. He's had enough of politics in this country. He wants to vent. So I asked him, come on
and
down, you know. I mean, we haven't had a conversation like this for a while. So he wants to talk about all kinds of things. He wants to talk about Joburg. He wants to talk about what we need to hear from politicians. He also wants to talk about the Zilla Anele debate.
yes.
He wants to talk about Transnet. So we're going to find out all about him and what he thinks in just a short while. That's going to be exciting. Also, in a while, we're going to check in with Warren Wheatley, who's the CEO of Altfest Capital, and find out how we could get involved with investing a little bit differently. And he's a very, very experienced businessman. He's got a lot of interesting takes on what people can and can't do with their money. He's particularly interested, obviously, in things like Bitcoin and crypto. And I think it's been a long time since we've talked about that. So Bitcoin, but you'll be happy about the return of cryptocurrencies to our agenda. So we'll get to that too. And I see Slippery Pickle is now arguing with people about Tylenol online. So this is great. Tracy says, a spiteful teenager has more restraint than some of those who clap Tylenol to defy Trump. Seriously stupid. They need to get their frontal cortex checked. Allopathic medicine makes no mistakes, according to Leanne, Gareth. That's what Slippery Pickle says.
Allopathic.
Yeah. Don't ask me. That's what he says. He's obviously criticizing you, Leanne.
Oh.
Yes.
Welcome.
James, does anyone ever call you Jim? Congo Chris wants to know. No one calls you Jim. Okay.
It is a Jimmy. That's the shortened version, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Doc on a Friday is hella new for me, says Snipes. Well, let's go to him. Is Dr. Hanan there? There he is. Look at that. Did you dress up for us this morning?
Aww.
I did.
Oh, wow. Okay, we're feeling pretty special. How are you, Doctor?
Yeah, I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Very good. Now, on the sofa here in front of me, I have two seriously deranged people, and I'd like you to just try to find out exactly what is wrong with them. And 3, 2, 1. There, show the doctor who we got. There they are. Look at them.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh wow! Look at those legs. Look at the legs.
Proper asylum.
Gotta do what we gotta do, you know?
Proper asylum volunteers. These two. No, Dr. Hanan, we've got a serious thing to talk about here. I actually do have a subject for discussion, and that is the otherhood trend. So. Marriage and kids are no longer the default path for many people. There's a growing rise of otherhood, people who are building chosen families, pet parenthood. I see more and more of this online. Yeah. Listen, I love my dog too, but if you're calling yourself a pet father or a pet mother, you are screaming into the void for something that you didn't get. There is an admission, if you're calling yourself a pet parent, there's an admission of something huge that you miss in your life that you wish you had. And it's not your pet, I'm afraid. You're revealing a little too much there. That's just my opinion. And then there are people who form digital tribes. So they belong to a digital tribe online, and that's their family.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm not opposed to any of this, but is it good for us, Doc? Is it supplanting a need that we're not discussing? Is it making some people feel part of something when they're just desperate to belong and nobody wants them? What's the reality?
So what I've seen in my practice, and we've seen this all over the show, the traditional household where, in the 50s, the guy went to work, the woman looked after the home and the kids, and meaning came from building a tribe at home. You have a husband, you have a wife, you have 2.3 children, and that equals happiness and meaning. That traditional household, which equated to meaning, is no longer the case. So people are getting married less, people are having less children. The traditional household, mom, dad, children is breaking apart. And it doesn't mean there's less meaning. As a matter of fact, we know from research that meaning doesn't necessarily come from, getting married or having kids. Some unmarried people find happiness in finding purpose and driving their own sense of meaning or deriving their own sense of meaning from other things. So the alarm was going off. Obviously. So it's so we get meaning not necessarily from being a partner and from that identity, or being a parent from that identity, but now we find other ways to get meaning from our jobs. Because also, if you think about it, things are becoming way more expensive. The traditional household is no longer feasible to for the young couple. Is no longer feasible for the young couple. Owning a home in the 50s was a lot more affordable for a family of two. Now it's almost impossible. So now women have to go out and work, and therefore finding a husband or a wife is no longer the chosen way. But suddenly, economically, we had to find other ways to make ends meet. And loneliness is going up. Since COVID, people are no longer connecting as much as we normally did or previously did with other human beings. So we find meaning and purpose through digitizing our social connections. The likes mean much more than going out and playing with your friends, and finding pets or finding meaning and comfort through connecting to your pets is a lot more. It's become a lot more easier, a lot more of a feasible option than going out and making friends.
Do I make a point, or am I being mean? Because Leanne is already like getting ready to argue with me. I can see when people call themselves pet parents and they, their profile pic is them with their pet or whatever. I just get the feeling that they protest too much. Like they're not really happy. The pet's filling a void that no one could and no one would. And I do think that this has gone to... I'm a pet owner, and I love my dog to pieces. I post pictures with the dog all the time. But
Pet owner.
Pet owner, yeah. I own the pet. She's fucking... If I don't feed
arguing.
it... If I don't feed the pet, then it dies, Leanne.
You said Leanne is about to argue with me.
Well, come on.
And then I just repeated what you said, pet owner, two words, and you think I'm arguing. What if I agree with you?
How do you feel when people call themselves pet parents?
I took my cat to the vet last night.
Oh, yes. What happened?
She had sore teeth, so she was pawing at her teeth, at her face.
What did you feed her, man?
And the vet lifted up her lip and revealed that she had a terrible tooth infection.
Oy.
So we agreed that surgery would be the way forward because she's 16.
How much?
Blood test. He came back to me with a little piece of paper and sat next to me. This is last night. And said her creatine is 11. 77, and it's meant to be 7.
Creatine.
Yeah.
Darabut. Isn't that what you use in gym? That's what Mash uses to train at gym. His muscles are so big.
Related to kidney failure.
Okay.
Oh.
And he said, your cat is dying
Oh, no.
and has a few days left to live.
Oh, shit.
Just like that.
And I put her down last night.
Oh.
So coming to me today with that argument of not calling myself a pet mom, I had it from, in fact, I think you and I might have been on air together when I lost a ginger cat and somebody said, I've just found 6 ginger kitties. Their mom's been driven over and they are a week old.
Yeah.
That was Saffron, who I adopted then, and I hand-reared her.
How many years?
16 and a half.
Long time.
And I had to put her down last night.
It's not nice.
So it's the worst time for you to come at me with...
I'm not coming at you. Don't you start your victim bullshit.
Leanne, are you okay?
No, it's terrible. It's absolutely awful.
Sure, I'd be bawling my eyes out.
It's easily one of the most horrible things to do. But do you call yourself a pet parent? It doesn't change the argument.
No, but last night I did say I'm a bad mom because I didn't pick up. She was climbing trees yesterday morning. And I used the words, I'm a bad mom.
Okay. Yeah, you see, I'm not going to argue with you about that.
No, Leanne.
Even I know that would be a terrible idea, right? I'd scratch my eyes out like a cat. No, but am I right?
Just slowly moonwalk out of this, Gareth.
No, I don't want to. Please, you heard me shout back at her. I'm not frightened of Leanne.
Where are the eggshells?
What do you make of people? Are there people who are trying to replace something that they don't have?
Of course. I mean, look. We human nature. We need a sense of belonging. We are social beings. We like to connect with other people. We like to connect with other things. And these days, people are connecting even to AI and robots because we don't speak to walls because walls don't respond back. So, the whole thing about it's cathartic to just say your feelings and express your feelings. It's not true. It's not the expression that is cathartic. It's the feedback that's cathartic, or even the make-believe feedback. That's why we speak to AI. It's the make-believe feedback that is cathartic. So we're looking for feedback. We're looking for that sense of belonging with another human being or another thing. So if you can't find it through another person, people look for it in pets. People look for it in AR. People look for it in robots, on computers, on social media. We're looking for any form of feedback.
I noticed Mash was smiling just now when I mentioned digital tribes because, I mean, he's probably going to tell me like someone in his family died now. How dare I ask? Or, fuck. In for a penny, in for a pound. Let's go for it, Mash. So what do you want to tell us? What sad shit happened in your life this week that you want to blame on me?
No, so from my end, there was a point in my life where I basically had no friends. I had no friends. I knew nobody.
Jesus.
So I found solace on social media, and I started.
How did that work?
So I just met people there, and all my friends currently, all the people who are my friends now in my life, are people I met on social media. There's nobody from high school. There's nobody from varsity. It's literally just people from social media. It's my little social tribe. And we just connected so much better than anybody I could have ever connected with because we were there in the comments of some dark tweets. And we were just all together there. And we just realized that we all have the same sense of humor. We all like the same stuff. And we just got on.
But that's better than a high school or something where you're just thrown into a situation and have to get on.
You know
It's
what,
like
Leanne?
chosen
I don't
family.
like the way you just lashed out at Mash for no reason. All right, Dr. Hanan, is Mash unique in that way, or are there lots of people who are finding most of their friends through online interactions? And then, obviously, you got to meet in real life at some point, right?
Yes.
Those are the people you were celebrating your birthday with this week.
Yes.
Okay. So these are real friendships
Right,
that it's like just a place you meet.
But I just caution on one thing. Naturally we connect with people that we have something in common with. We have common denominators. So we like people that are very much like us. So we like people that support the same soccer teams as we do. We like people that have the same sense of humor that we do. We like people that support the same political party that we do. We just connect to people that are very similar to us because it's less threatening. So naturally, you will look and your brain will search for familiarity in someone else. And just remember that you got to put people in the correct box. Just because you connect with somebody on a soccer team doesn't mean you connect with somebody on a value system. Just because you connect with somebody on a political spectrum doesn't mean you connect with somebody on family dynamics and family morality. So just be aware that your social friends on social media, that is, you connect with them on a particular area, but it doesn't mean you connect with them on everything. So just be careful of following the tribe in totality, as opposed to just putting people in the correct box and connecting with them in that box and not necessarily on any other platform or any other area or specific aspect of that connection. Just put them in the box and connect with them specifically with that box and nothing else.
Yes.
All right. Very good. Congo Chris says, and I'm going to go into this very trepidatiously, pet parents fall into two categories. Personality lacking dog owners, Yorkie and Dachshund owners in brackets, he says.
Oh, wow, specific.
And cat owners with
Hey.
toxoplasmosis from breathing in too much cat shit.
Oh, no.
So there we go. Calling oneself a pet parent, says Judas, is delusional because that pet came from their parent and then you took them away from them without asking their permission. Humans don't birth pets, they adopt or buy them. When pets die, you get a bit upset, but they can be replaced, says Judas. Very concerned with your sadness this
I
morning,
have
Judas.
referred to, because, I mean, all of my pets have been adopted or rescued, or they found me.
Right.
They just pitched up.
Well, they've heard this free board and lodging. at
Yeah,
your
yeah.
house.
Range free. And I have referred to my very first cat as my firstborn.
Oh, you see. Okay, we really struck a nerve here this morning, Doc. Doc,
Yeah, I
what do you
think
say?
Leanne should learn that this is not the place to seek sympathy. Shed a tear and you get absolute bulldozed by the mob.
Yeah, clearly it's not just me, it's the audience as well. They don't give a shit about your feelings. Leanne. It's so horrible.
But actually, Mash was shedding a tear for me.
Yeah, he
so.
did.
I was actually volunteering at a rescue shelter just last Sunday, this past
wow.
Sunday. And
Oh, that's where it starts. Just be careful.
Yeah, next thing you know, you have 10 cats.
that was very emotional. It really was. I love animals.
This is a concern. Slippery Pickle says, I got my friend's wife on deworming medicine last week because toxoplasmosis is a real threat to humanity.
That ivermectin is a dewormer, that stuff that people were taking during
COVID, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until yesterday when I was picking up my medication.
Well, I would say consult your doctor on that front again.
Yeah.
But this is not the place for us to have a deep, in-depth discussion about toxoplasmosis. Anyway, Doc, thank you very much. You came into the
All right,
hive
guys,
this
nice to
morning,
see you.
and we all got stung. Thank you. Very good. All right, happy Friday and happy weekend. And by the way, if you are Jewish and it was Rosh Hashanah this week, which is Jewish New Year, so happy on that front. Also, how was your Heritage Day? I noticed Heritage Day, and I'm asking both of you, Heritage Day in South Africa has become a dress-up.
Oh, it should be.
Okay,
It's
but
become a
now,
dress-up.
What is your heritage
what are we
here?
wearing?
Kiwi?
What exactly?
Oh, sorry.
What is your heritage, Leanne? K-Way.
What the fuck are we wearing?
What do you mean?
What am I going to wear on Heritage Day? I'm South African. I was born in South Africa. I identify as a South African. But boy, will I get shot down for that.
What do you mean? Who's going to shoot? That's like the most
Yeah.
blancmange thing anyone could say. Why would you be shot down for that?
What am I going to wear then?
Where's your family from? Like your family history?
The South.
The South of Joburg.
No, then you should
No,
just...
I mean, where else?
Did you hear what Roger Rax said last week?
What?
You must have a grandpa in a Coca-Cola first thing in the morning,
Oh, really?
apparently.
Yeah.
That is what he said, right?
That's heritage.
Yeah, grandpa, and then...
So if I had to dig far, far, far back,
Yeah.
great grandparents, it would be Scottish.
Yeah, but you know what? It's just it's an occasion to dress up. Most of the people who are dressing up, they don't know a whole lot about their family history. And that's
Yeah.
okay. It's just a fun thing. I must tell you, I saw some beautiful outfits, and I thought people looked colorful and happy. I mean, here in our office, there's someone called Hazel. I'm going to send you the picture.
Yeah. Leanne, you don't even have to wear stuff from your own culture. There were so many black people at work wearing saris.
Exactly.
Simply because they were like, oh, we look nice in these things. That's it.
Isn't it cultural appropriation or something?
Not at all. That's an American thing. We don't do that here in South Africa.
Oh, we don't give a shit.
Just buy a Zulu outfit, a little thing like some beads that just
Iskapezana.
are here.
Yeah.
And a little skapezana.
Yeah.
Tits out. And
Right.
just
Do it. I mean, Leanne, you could.
You obviously haven't seen what's under this dress.
No, but you could. I mean, have you seen
could
some of
pull it
the?
off.
Have you seen the reed dancers? There's nothing. They're all kind of titties go
Yeah,
there.
there's no body shaming there.
Absolutely. There's
So
no
you
body
could,
shaming.
and I don't think people are doing it as like a exclusionary thing. It's an inclusionary thing, and I like the fact that so many people
Well,
are
I'm
dressing
happy
up.
to hear that
Yeah.
because
I'm sorry you were sitting there crying in your house,
no,
not
because
dressing up.
in my office, there is only one person of color, which is very rare.
Jesus, where do you work in the
Exactly.
Vryheidsfront Plus?
Gee whiz, yeah.
Very, very rare. And he happens to be Zimbabwean. And
Okay.
he said, "What are we wearing on Heritage
Oh,
Day?"
we've got the clip of that guy you work with, the guy with the trolley,
Oh.
James. Play it
Zimbabwean
for
guy.
Leanne; she'll recognize him immediately.
Oh, Leanne's
this is
colleague.
your co-worker, and I think he was actually off to buy an outfit for Heritage Day because he didn't know what to wear, right, Leanne?
No,
he
he
didn't know.
asked us all.
He didn't know what to wear, so here he is. You'll recognize him, Leanne, straight away.
Trolley. What trolley?
Coming.
You'll see. No, we found him on the street outside Leanne's office. We know everybody, Mash. You know this. We know everyone. We know everyone in South Africa. Vyasan, by the way, just says here, the government didn't think of our Tamil tribe when deciding on Heritage Day. It's in the middle of our fast. Watching people's braids are depressing. So Vyasan feeling left out there. The wife would not let me send my kid to school dressed as Jan van Riebeek.
What's his name?
Here's the Leanne's guy. Yeah. Go for it. Play.
Name me the days of the week in order.
The days of the week: Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday.
Name me the months of the year in order.
January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. You know what? I have a song I used to sing when I was old. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, August, November, December.
What does WWW stand for?
Wait, what? Why?
Wait, what? Why? For 100 million.
Go ahead.
Would you sell your soul?
What else? Is that all? Ah, my friend, you must be specific. You're asking me for 100 million. Is that all you have to say? What else? Tell me, bring. I already have where to put it. If you want, I'll bring my uncle's. Here's a tractor back at his farm. Listen, my brother, give me my money. Where are you going? Come back here.
Oh, that's brilliant.
It is. That's the guy, right? So he was
Yeah, that's
complaining
him.
about not having an outfit.
Yeah.
What did you wear?
I wore pants that I
Thank
got
God.
custom made by by my designer.
People are terrified that you're going to come in without pants.
Oh, count the days. It's coming.
It's coming. One of these
It's
days,
coming.
everybody.
One of these days, I'm fighting temptation every day,
Right.
Gareth.
Damn right.
On my birthday, I was like, do you know how hard it's been to get to another birthday without showing my hoo-ha online? Do you know how hard it
but
has
those
been
days
for
are
me?
behind. Mash, those days are behind you.
Sure.
Literally
It gets
and
harder
figuratively.
Nowadays, it gets harder every day, literally and figuratively too.
How's your
Oh,
OnlyFans
sure.
going?
Well, he's
I had to
closed
close that down
Oh,
a while
really?
ago.
He's got a serious job. Like Mash has got a serious job. He's a real business
I'm
guy
a corporate person
Oh.
now, so I can't be doing that behavior anymore.
He's not some slay
I
queen.
don't know where the lines are anymore. I don't know.
So yeah, the pants I wore were too big.
Oh.
They were way too big. So like I put so many needles just in the side just to hold them together. It was very uncomfortable for me.
See,
but
again,
I looked good. I can send you
There
the
was a nice
producers
humble
picture.
brag about how thin you've got.
Have to squeeze it in there.
All right, yeah, send us a picture because send it to James that he can show that off as well. So you didn't dress up at all, Leanne. Look here. This is here at
Oh wow!
at our
That's
office.
Beautiful.
I mean, there's some awesome outfits going on there, right?
Yeah, but
Colour
what are the
and-
white people wearing?
Yeah, well, I
Kiwi.
mean, like you said,
Kiwi?
is that
Springbok-
you in the background,
Springbok
James?
jersey?
No, it's not you.
No.
James, that's a woman. I know that's not you. I'm talking about the guy at the back. Who's okay? Can't see, but there we go. And famously,
I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know what to wear on Heritage Day.
okay, well,
And it's pretty sad. What would you wear?
Okay, I'm sending to the producers this quickly.
whatever I want. I would just wear normal. Listen, I don't even dress up for interviews. So I'm the wrong guy to ask. But some people like
It's
dressing
very
up.
difficult, Gareth, as,
I've
a,
got friends-
as a white South African.
Oh, the struggles of.
The struggles of the white
It's
South
so hard.
African.
Oh my God, are you going to immigrate to America because it's so hard for you to find an outfit for
Maybe I
Heritage
could dress
Day?
up as a hardy dar.
Hardy-da.
No, man. There's got to be so. James,
Just wear a
did you dress
Springbok
up?
jersey.
Did you dress up?
I don't come. My
right,
heritage is
listen.
not rugby.
Maybe the comment section will help us.
Yeah.
Judas says on Heritage Day, because I don't really. It takes a lot to get me to dress up,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and I went. You know what I did on Heritage Day?
What?
Absolutely nothing. I didn't even know it was a holiday until the day before. So
Hey-bo.
Tuesday morning, I was sitting in a meeting and someone said, "Oh, and tomorrow's
By
a
the
public
way,
holiday,"
yeah.
and I was like, "What?"
Ah.
I had totally forgotten. So even if I'd wanted to, I hadn't thought there was a holiday in the first place. So Judas says, on Heritage Day, I actually followed your advice and spoke to my mom. I got to understand and write down a bit of my family history. I'm inspired to do a family tree. Good.
Yes.
That's awesome. And Pumlani says, Gareth, you did dress up as Zorro last week, so that counts. I did. I wore that black top that
Oh,
people
you
said
did
was
too.
Zorro. So yeah, actually, I'll dress up as Zorro there.
Actually, I've just remembered my grandfather was a miner, like in the mines.
Stimela, yeah. So would you dress up as
I
a
could possibly
as a worker?
dress up as a Zambian miner. Possibly, that might pass.
Oh, Leanne.
Uh,
Yeah.
Mash, what
my
do you think white people should dress up for?
Kiwi. Just wear your kiwi.
Just kiwi.
And be merry.
Chinos if you're a guy, skapezan if you're a
Yeah,
girl.
and those shorts.
Yeah.
Those shorts. You know, the ones that the Buddha
or a
makes
shirt
away.
with Mandela on the front. You know?
Yeah. You know, something
Yeah.
that people associate with
Yeah.
with not
Then no
Boer
pressure.
people, but either way.
Viasen says, if white people can use African outfits, I would like to see Mash in some khaki shorts. You've worn khaki shorts before.
That's just my everyday outfit.
By the way,
y'all.
Mash is now like, are you still in this relationship with the Afrikaans guy?
Yes.
Yeah, so he's maybe more boer than you think he is. Yes.
Wow, yeah, a pair of boer bulls would do well there.
I love me some
Bitcoin Boot says you wear if you're a white person who doesn't know how to dress up for Heritage Day, you wear fellies, like velskoene.
Then you're
That's a
done.
good idea.
Yeah.
But
That's a very good
okay,
idea.
so that's the Afrikaans. Those are the Dutch settlers.
Yes.
Okay,
And then
so
you get the British settlers.
then you
Oh
wear a red coat and you shoot people.
Oh my God!
I mean,
it is something to talk about. It's not that
Yeah.
easy.
I think that the biggest problem is that people don't really know a lot about South African history. And unfortunately, at school at the moment, all they teach you is maybe the last 20, 40 years.
Yes.
And so your depth of field is very, very small in order to find something to wear. I mean, you could dress up as a voortrekker, or you could dress up as
Absolutely.
an Anglo-Boer War English soldier. You could dress up as a remember the English invented the concentration camp. You could dress up as a Tannie who was put in a concentration camp by the English. There's a whole lot going on.
Things up,
You
you
dress
know?
up as an
See, I'm
as
like,
an Indian in
now
KZN.
you're coming with the
Right.
ideas.
Yeah.
Wear ANC regalia. Hey, we got that woman who's voting ANC. She's a perfect example. Just wear one of these shirts and have this idea. Here we go. Take a look.
I'm going to vote for ANC to come and make change for us. You must see better life. I am ANC.
Isn't that great?
I still can't tell whether she's pro or
You could dress like that.
anti.
You could dress like that.
You could get a Helen Ziller haircut.
Absolutely.
You know, that could
Yeah,
work.
I should
She's-
my
Yeah,
outfit-
that would be actually.
Yeah, I should my outfit as well. My outfit was just a plain white shirt with those pants, just pattern pants, and that's it. It doesn't have to be complicated.
And I'm a quarter Jewish, so I could.
You could have done some of that
could have
too.
done some
I mean,
of that
there's
too.
lots of
Yeah.
completely offensive cultural stereotypes you have to choose from, Leanne.
Yeah. Actually, I shared my outfit with the producers.
Oh, have you got it? Oh, nice. We must take a look at that.
So simple.
Someone wants to know here from you, Mash. Question for Mash. How's the Afrikaans pap? Do you like Afrikaans pap?
I ain't had pap in a long time.
Okay, you
We
don't
ain't
do
eating
that.
pap.
Okay.
He hasn't eaten carbs since he was mafetle.
Shorts, t-shirt, and pluckies. Anton says that's all you need to worry about if you're a white South
That's
African.
always when I know there's a rugby game on, when I go to Spa and the men are in their little pluckies.
Max,
all excited buying charcoal.
Max Sony says, fuck that. All the more reason for these guys to ask why you never give me.
Oh, yes.
So that's from Max Sony. Bitcoin. Oh, look at that. There we go. Okay, you see, Mash, that's way too smart for Heritage Day. I'm sorry.
Is it too smart?
Yeah, it's like you're just trying to be a fashion icon instead of just celebrating Heritage Day. What we need is like what is the thing?
What?
You see, you're not Zulu, so you couldn't have worn
But
that.
wait,
What was that thing called that Wendy had on last week, guys?
What is
what?
Gareth won't be able to say that.
Kaile.
Oh.
What comes
Okay, so
before
that's
Kaile?
Is it like a duke?
No, Kaila is like a thing made of deer skin.
Oh,
But you know the
that-
taxi drivers
okay,
that wear.
yes, the Zulu
There was a
thing.
guy wearing one of those like fake leopard print shirts here
Yes.
as well, like a taxi driver would wear.
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
fun. So you can wear anything. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to be super
Nobody
judgy.
really cares.
Yeah.
I would probably, you know what? I think I would probably go for like safari gear.
Yeah, maybe.
Because that to me, about being South African, that's what I feel
Okay.
like. Animal print.
Like a game drive.
Signet wants to know, why do you take selfies in the fucking toilet?
Because why not?
So this lighting was good, obviously.
The lighting is good.
Okay.
The lighting.
Where's the best lighting?
I've never ever taken a
The work
photograph of
twins.
myself in a
I've heard
bathroom.
that the best lighting is in change rooms.
Change
No,
rooms have
it's
the
the-
best lighting, but you must not
No.
take pictures.
I'm
You'll
sorry.
go to prison.
No, but hang on.
You go to prison?
You're not allowed. It's actually
Change
illegal
rooms
to
are
take
the
pictures.
worst. Every woman knows that.
Which change rooms, Leanne?
Change room, terrible, absolutely awful. I don't know what retailers are thinking because
Hold on.
everything looks awful.
Yeah, okay, you may be right. I haven't been in a change room for ages at a shop because I don't even try things on. I just buy them and then realize I got the wrong size when I got home. But Mash said you get arrested if you take pictures in change rooms? What
Oh,
nonsense
wait.
is this?
No. I thought you guys meant the locker rooms at gyms.
Oh. Oh.
My brain is so gymified.
I just,
All I'm thinking
I just
is gym
suddenly
all the
thought
time.
you could get arrested for taking a picture in a change room. I've seen lots of people taking pictures in change. Rate my outfit. Yeah?
So
Right?
guys,
But no, change rooms, even
got
like.
this in a size 10.
Yeah.
But normal change rooms also, I think they have good lighting. I take lots of pictures and videos in change rooms. The lighting is amazing.
No, it's awful.
Well, maybe it's where I shop. I shop at Mr. Price. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I'm like a pick and pay clothing girl.
They have good lighting too. I've been there. Hi, Leanne.
Maybe it's just body dysmorphia or whatever it's called.
Oh, and that is a real thing as well, hey? I've been suffering from body dysmorphia, I've come to realize.
Really?
Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine and I was like, oh, my arms are so small. And she's like, what do you mean? And some guy passing by is like, dude, those big guns. What do you mean? And they were like,
but you start to compare yourself to people who are
way
you
bigger.
know, and you think about how you looked a year ago, and you can't even tell that there's been such a transformation.
Yeah.
You got to look out for that.
It's
Actually,
because you live with yourself. So you see yourself every day. You don't see the change happening. Other
it's like-
people notice it first.
it's like Leanne in the next 4 months after her Ozempic. She's going to
Leanne.
walk in here like a fucking supermodel, and
Yeah.
then,
No, but
then she'll be
remember-
too good for us, Mash.
Yo.
She won't want to talk to
I
us
have some
anymore.
advice for you, Leanne.
Oh.
Remember, guys, that this is medication. I'm not taking it to lose weight.
No, I know, but you're going to anyway.
But the
And
side
I'm
effect.
doing it really, really slowly because I have other chronic medications.
So you must eat.
I must eat.
Yeah.
I have to start eating because I'm not eating enough.
Oh, jeez.
What's that doctor called? The doctor who always
Dr.
talks
Now.
to the fat people?
Dr. Now.
Dr.
The one who goes,
Nawaz-
Dr. Nawazadin.
But how can you say
that
you are not eating?
And then they lie. They go like, I don't know how I gained weight.
Yeah.
It must be water weight.
But you are
And he's like,
putting things in your mouth all the time.
you've eaten the food for the next 4
There's a
years
guy-
ahead of time.
There's a woman who's like trying to lose weight, and her husband, Dr. Niles her,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like as she's taking something from the fridge, he's like, "But you see now, you eat too many strawberries.
You've got his voice right. You've got it exactly right. You eat too many strawberries.
You say you eat one strawberry, you eat the whole punnet." And he follows her around the house and makes these comments everywhere.
There was one lady
You're
on
putting too much toothpaste on your toothbrush. What will happen when you swallow it? Yeah, you put on the weight.
Leanne's got the voice exactly right.
There was one person on the show who ate a lot of salad, and she's like, I've been eating a lot of salad. And he goes,
What was like?
who told you to eat a lot?
Yeah.
All right,
You must
well,
only eat little salad.
I do have a special treat for both of you. You know, I discovered Sylvia, the psychic, the other day. We played a couple of her clips. She comes up now every day on my Instagram, and I'm delighted to bring you 2 new clips of Sylvia helping people speak to dead relatives and finding out things from across the void. Oh, yes, this is a real thing. This was on a show called Montel,
Back
the
in the
Montel Jordan show,
80s,
which was
90s?
Oh, we're talking 80s,
Yeah.
and very, very popular show back in the day.
I think I remember this.
This woman is so cutthroat. She wastes no time, though. She gives you the feedback, and then you must fuck off. Take a look.
Passed away 3 years ago, and
She was a beautiful woman, by the way.
thank you. And before she passed away, she tried several times to tell me something in the hospital, and I could not understand because of the tube she had in her mouth, and
Yeah, the trachea, all that.
I just didn't understand it. And until this day, it still bothers me that I couldn't understand my own mother.
She didn't, you know, this is really hard to tell you. Your father is not your father.
Wow.
But who cares? You love who you love.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay.
But she wanted to get that off her chest. It's, who cares? You know, but I mean, that was her thing.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Okay.
All right, yeah.
No,
sure. Okay.
that is so.
Your father's not your father. Oh, but who cares? You love her, you love
Because of the trachea and all of that.
Right.
The trachea.
Just beautiful.
Are psychics still a thing, by the
She
way?
was like, no, I'm sorry. I can't move on from that.
Go on, what bothers you the most about that?
About the fact that she didn't even really get to her question. And that woman was like, your father, by the way, your father is not your father.
She's great. She doesn't need to waste time asking you questions. I mean, you know, this is where, I mean, really, when we badger Dr. Hanan with questions, we should just go, Dr. Hanan.
Yes, but he's coming out with the truth. She's just making shit up.
How do you know she's making shit up, Leanne?
I've seen other clips of her. There's
She's
one
great.
clip where there's a woman who comes to her. She goes like, no, we haven't seen whoever, like someone went missing apparently. And she just goes, the Sylvia woman just goes, she's dead.
Yeah, right.
She died in water. And it's like, oh, okay. And the person just confused and sits down.
Well, here's another one. Because you know, I like you so much this morning that I'm going to spoil you with a little bit more Sylvia.
Yay.
I'm one of 5 siblings. We had 2 brothers and there's 3 girls. I'm the middle girl. I haven't seen my oldest sister for over 50 years and I'm wondering if she's still alive.
No, she's not. No, she's
Thank
not.
you very much.
She's not, honey. She hasn't been alive for quite a while.
Thank you.
Look how uncomfortable the woman at the back is.
That's exactly what Mash was just saying. It's like, oh, no, she's dead, honey.
But she's like bored of being a psychic.
She's like, yeah, he's dead. And the people are just like, oh, okay. Oh, okay, yeah. All
What are you meant to do with that information?
And then you just sit down, you're like, okay.
Just get on with your life now. She's like, well, that's enough from you. You can get on with your life. Thank you.
She's done with life.
Thank you. Yeah, she's like, get out of here. And Montel, he's just sitting there going,
I used to love these 2000s
They were the
shows.
best.
They were the best.
Yeah.
Do you remember Maury with the
Maury
olives?
Povich.
Bring out the olives.
Right.
Was it Maury who
Yeah.
said bring out the olives?
Maury Povich, there was, and those were all before Oprah and Ellen and
I
all
don't
of those
remember
shows.
that one.
There was a woman who was deathly afraid of olives, like terrified of olives. I'm gonna find the clip and send it
And
to
they
the producers.
tormented her.
And then, as she was like telling them about
Like
how
she wouldn't
terrified,
touch them or eat them.
she didn't even want to see an olive. She said it terrified her. And what does Maury do after she confides in him, sitting on the couch like we are now?
Yeah.
He yells, "Bring out the olives!" And they just bring out this huge jar of olives and start chasing her with it. And she's traumatized and screaming
Like
the
if
whole
someone
time.
did that with spiders, I'd be finished.
Bring out the spiders!
Oh,
Producer
geez.
James?
Hey,
Yeah.
they found Jesus in. I know this is very
Sauce.
big. Yeah, have a look because this obviously this was on Heritage Day and people were paying attention. They found Jesus. He was driving a bakkie.
After the rapture.
Look, have a look. You got the Jesus? Okay, let's show everybody. I can't believe.
Jesus! Jesus! Take me to Jerusalem! Jesus! Jesus! I like you, Jesus. Ne? I like you, Jesus! Jesus!
Oh, Jesus.
See? This is South Africa. We knew he'd come here. Promised land, I'm telling you. This is the stuff.
But he's
This is
like,
the
fuck
promised
off.
land.
Yeah, well,
I
maybe.
remember being called, like, you know, when you stop at a robot and you're
Yeah.
heckled or like asked for money or whatever. And the guys would always say when I had my hair blow dried, Miss California,
Oh, right. Okay.
with the sunglasses on. I loved that.
I do have a couple of other things I want us to talk about this morning.
Yes.
Apparently, according to MASH, piracy is back.
Oh, piracy's back.
Are
and
we
it's
talking about
popping.
pirates on the sea and ships?
No.
Jack Sparrow type
No,
shit? Or
downloading stuff illegally.
downloading illegally?
Yes. So there's been a shift. Things are shifting, and I think nostalgia is coming back because what's happening now is people are tired of spending so much money. I have discussed with you before, Gareth, that I've cancelled all of my subscriptions: Netflix,
Right.
Disney Plus, Hulu, all of them,
Oh, yeah?
every single one. Showmax, I cancelled everything.
Yeah.
My poor family is suffering as a result because they were on my subscriptions
yeah?
as well. But they're learning to live with it. And the reason why I canceled them was because they were getting kind of expensive, Leanne. They were getting a little bit too expensive. And the thing is, you get one subscription to watch one show. I want to watch South Park. I'm going to get a whole Paramount Plus just to watch South Park. That's a whole freaking $200. I finish South Park, and then what do? I don't cancel it. I just keep it going because I think to myself, maybe there might be another show. Let's see. Maybe it might be worth my while later on.
But it's so true. And there's this like FOMO as well, where
Yeah.
you see someone on TikTok talking about a certain show.
And you're like,
you
"Ish."
Google it to find it and you don't have that platform.
Yeah.
And so you can either end up having too many or...
So you're going to get that platform.
Somebody told me this week to watch the Charlie Sheen thing. Apparently, there's a Charlie Sheen documentary or something
Where?
on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Because he's written a book. I heard 2 interviews with him in the past couple of days. Charlie Sheen, let me tell you, that guy, there's something special going on there because he took all the drugs and he slept with prostitutes.
I don't know
and
how he's still
I mean,
alive.
like, he did all the worst things you
He
could do.
contracted everything.
And he's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
remember he had AIDS or whatever as well.
Doesn't he have HIV?
I think he still does. I don't
Yeah.
know. He's back. He looks great. He's 60 years old and he's got a sense of humor. His
He's
brain
from
is
the
still
whole
the
family.
same.
Martin Sheen is his dad, right?
Phenomenal. Yeah. Martin Sheen's his dad
And then he's
and
got a brother.
Emilio Estevez is his brother.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Sure. So he's living it up then.
He seems to be fine.
Sure. So, and it's on Netflix. The show.
Yeah.
Why do you need to subscribe now?
No, so
Hey,
somebody said
I
to me
might
it's on
have to now.
Netflix, so
No,
I
I'll have
realized
to pirate.
I realized I don't have because I don't have any subscriptions at all. So
you
unless
cancelled
someone
I have one.
Which one?
Netflix.
Okay. That's the only one you
Is it worth
need,
it?
I suppose.
Yeah, I don't have much time to watch it,
Yeah.
so it's enough.
Okay.
Because I only need to watch like maybe 2 things at once.
Because Netflix is like $200 unless you have the 99 Rand package. There's 2 packages. If you want 4K, you have to pay $200. If you want to watch it on a big TV.
Oh, no, I don't. I watch on my phone.
Yeah.
You see, you've already got over your cat. Look at you talking about Netflix.
So you're on a phone watching Netflix.
Bizarre statements.
See, you're already feeling better.
Oh, shame.
No, I am sorry.
I did send some photos, James.
Oh, no, we don't want, no, let's not.
Do you not want to see my dead cat?
No, please not.
To make a little collage with music.
No, Leanne.
shame.
Oh, that's
I
horrible.
wonder
Listen,
why.
I'm very sorry about your cat. I really am.
Shame, man, Leanne.
That's a horrible
show
thing to
you.
happen.
It's fine. James can show the pictures. I'll
No, we don't.
sing.
No, nobody wants to see the cat that's passed
No,
on.
you know
that's
why?
very sad.
Because she was part of like my broadcast life.
Yes.
So remember, I lost a
Must
ginger
we play
cat.
piano music?
I lost a ginger cat, and then someone phoned in at 5FM and said, "I have this cat, this little
What?
kitten that's a week old."
So,
So she was like, and then everyone helped me name her. So I thought I would just show her.
okay,
So
well.
I took a photo of her dead. No, I'm
Oh
kidding.
my
No, I'm kidding.
All right, so James, do we have any sad piano music we could play while we show these pictures? Because this is here's a heartstring puller from Leanne this morning. She's like those people who set up their camera after a breakup in their car and they're crying. And, they want the clicks. But have we got some piano music? All right, let's see if we just find something sad to play
You
in the
just play me out,
background.
I
because I
could
need
just
to leave.
sing.
Yeah. And then we can put the picture up, and then Leanne can go and fall in a heap in the corner again, because that's yeah. All right, you just pretend you're okay for just another minute. Leanne.
Another minute.
Yeah,
I need
just
to
another
go.
minute. You need to be okay, Leanne. My God.
Oh my.
You were going to tell us about a whole lot of facts from history, and I was excited about those.
Yeah,
but
I was.
No, we don't. I mean, we don't have time now, unless.
There isn't time. What was that thing?
No, you know what? Tell us, because this is probably better than the cat picture anyway.
Okay, because that's a different set
I
of
love
pictures.
this. Yeah, no, go.
Yeah.
I want to hear these facts about history that we think are true, but they've turned out to be false. I was busy last night. This is how boring my people want to know what I do in my spare time.
Yeah.
I looked up the architecture and the layout of the Temple of Apollo at Delphi, and that was where the Sibyl would announce the oracle would answer questions and riddles. So you'd go there and there'd be someone.
So like the psychic.
Yeah, like the psychic, but in ancient times, and she would go hubbada bubbada bubbada bubbada, and then you would you'd get an answer to your question. Usually your question would be answered with a riddle. But the Temple of Apollo at Delphi was probably one of the most visited places in the ancient world. And I was looking at that last night thinking there's probably still so much that we are going to uncover. And I realize every time I go online that there's someone studying some bizarre part of history that I thought I knew, and then they come up with totally new things.
Like genetics and DNA and AI that's helping to recreate things. It's like never ending. I used to think history was history, and we knew everything. Those were the facts.
What do you got? What have you got for us?
Okay, so for instance, what do you think ninjas wear?
Ninjas did not wear the black outfits where just their eyes aren't covered.
What,
They would have worn like almost like samurai outfits,
like kimonos with that big hat.
Yeah, like
triangle hat.
like in Mortal Kombat. They don't dress like that.
Oh,
So yes, ninjas in kabuki theater may have been dressed in black as a stage direction device, but actually, ninjas opted for dark brown or even dark blue.
Oh.
These colors were more common and inconspicuous at the time, making them perfect for blending in.
Oh, okay. Well, got that one completely wrong. So 0 points for me and 0 points for Mash.
Huh.
All right, next.
Next, despite what you may have seen in photos and museums, Greek and Roman statues weren't initially white.
Yeah, they were painted.
I knew you'd know this one.
No. They were painted in bright colors, actually,
yes.
like a little bit garish.
Intricately painted in bright colors.
They didn't look real. They looked kind of, I mean, that doesn't look, I think that's not an improvement, if you ask me.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, so on the left is, I think that might not be classical. That might actually be Renaissance. But on the right, that's the Augustus of Prima Porta that was uncovered at Livia's holiday house in Prima Porta. And it's a statue of the first emperor, Augustus. And it was probably made in about 30 BC, somewhere around there.
So it's because these statues were only discovered, hello statue, it's because these statues were only discovered so late that their paint had worn off.
Yeah.
Why had people not discovered them while their paint was on?
Because
I sound like, who's that woman who does the history of the BBC?
Paint doesn't last very long. I mean, they have found stuff from the Middle Ages, for example, that were, because people think the Middle Ages was all like very dark and gloomy and shitty. But they painted everything. They painted walls, they painted statues, ceilings, everything. And a lot of it has lasted, but obviously if it's out in the rain, if it's in the soil.
Also, the material of the statue. What are these statues made of?
Marble.
Marble.
Yeah.
Marble is the slipperiest thing.
Yeah.
That paint is just gonna zoop.
Yeah.
Eventually. Yeah.
And Mash is right. It doesn't last. You can find tiny little remnants of it.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the best you get. Okay, what else?
Another one. Albert Einstein, known as one of the greatest physicists of all time.
Hmm?
Despite this, there was that long-standing rumor going back as far as the 30s that he wasn't the best at maths.
Well, didn't his maths teacher at school tell him something like, "Oh, Albert, you will never amount to anything." Something like that.
Einstein himself cleared this rumor up when he told a rabbi at Princeton, before I was 15, I had mastered differential and integral calculus.
Well, Mash, you and Leanne and I can't do differential or
Integral
or calculus.
I can't do basic calculus.
We can't do any of that.
What is
All
calculus?
7 of those 3.
No, don't ask us. All right, so in other words, he's just setting the record straight that he wasn't an idiot at any point. So there are stupid people all over the world right now writing their matric finals because that's coming up, right?
Yeah.
And then, this algebra, why do I need it? Einstein was bad at maths. No, he wasn't. You're an idiot. If you don't get good marks, no one will employ you.
Do
Bye.
better. Do better.
No, that's the truth. All right, next.
Marilyn Monroe,
Oh, I loved Marilyn Monroe.
best known as the blonde bombshell.
Yeah, she porked a lot of famous people.
She did.
A lot of famous
She got
people
a lot
porked her.
A lot of dick in.
Yeah, damn
my
right.
role model there, yeah.
John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy definitely had to go. Apparently, his brother Bobby Kennedy, yes, also had to go. Mm-hmm.
So apparently, everyone said, "Oh, she was so curvaceous." She was like, and we're in this day and age on dating apps, we'll put ourselves as curvy when we're actually obese.
Yes.
That's called.
But
that is called
lying.
Catfishing.
But
Curvy.
people
You're curvy and you
thought that
arrive
she
and
was
it's
like a size 16.
Just do the doctor voice again. I arrive on a date
I see
and
you eating.
please do.
But you say you're eating fresh air. But you're not eating fresh air. You're eating a lot of fatty foods. Eating a lot of oil.
I wish I could do that voice. Then I'd use that voice wherever I went. You are eating too much food. Okay, go on.
So everyone thought she was like a size 16.
Yes.
But she was actually, if you look at like comparison
there's a
stuff,
picture,
she was actually very tiny.
Oh,
Very,
okay.
very, very tiny.
So, what are you saying? Are you saying she was much thinner than we think?
Yes. So by today's standards, you would think that she was a bigger woman.
But she wasn't.
But she actually wasn't. She
Well,
was
I
very
mean,
tiny. She was like the American size 4.
So that's a really good point. And you've always got to ask the question, compared to what? Like if you're comparing it to a Kardashian, I heard something gross the other day I need to ask you both about before you go. We'll get back to the history stuff. Will you save the rest of it?
I've got 32 and those are 4. We can do them another time.
Okay, well, I mean, we would finish the show at 8 o'clock tonight if we let you carry on. I heard this gross thing the other day about BBLs.
Brazilian butt lifts.
That they smell.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Is this a thing?
Yes, they do stink, apparently.
Oh, no, but from where?
So apparently the fat that they inject into the BBL to make your butt bigger, some of it cannot get supply of blood from the blood because they put in too much, right?
So it comes out.
And then it's fat necrosis. So the fat tissue dies and it stinks when it dies.
Decaying tissue.
So these people with these huge asses that they've had constructed for themselves, they are very smelly to be around.
I wonder, is it stinking through their skin?
Suppurating, fetid, rotting necrotic flesh.
Wasn't that your uncle? If it bore. He found something nauseating.
It is nauseating.
That is nauseating.
Isn't that revolting?
That is gross.
Have you ever smelt it though?
I've never smelled it. I don't know anyone who got a BBL.
I don't either. No, who needs to in South Africa?
You can just squat also if you're that desperate.
Yeah, but people want the
quick fix.
They want the unreasonable Kardashian butt. I've also seen
now everyone's getting shit removed, hey? Fillers and they're all going all natural.
Yeah.
Really?
Look at Simon. Have you seen Simon Cow?
No.
Whoa,
he looks terrifying. He was walking down
Has he had everything taken out?
No. So I know this clip that Mash is about to tell us about. I don't have it for you, but
I'll get it
my
for
God,
you.
this is something scary. So Simon Cowell, and
because he had a lot of work done.
Way too much. The
Too
guy
much.
he used to look good.
I'm sending it to the producers
And
now.
and it's not an age thing. I do not want anyone to misconstrue what I'm about to say as being like, we all get old, right? And there is a thing going on in Hollywood at the moment that is really worrying me. Like people, I don't know whether it's too much of the Ozempic. I don't know if it's Botox, fillers, plastic surgery. Whatever's happening there is not a healthy situation.
But there are also amazing things happening. Like
No, sure.
What's the Kardashian mother?
Yeah. She looks terrific.
Yeah,
but
and
the daughters, honestly,
Lindsay
if you
Lohan, they look
they look
beautiful.
great. I agree. We've had this conversation about how it definitely has worked for some people.
Yeah.
But man, have some of the others made a terrible mistake.
But like those Essex girls with the big lips, the big eyelashes.
Oh yes.
They're all dissolving their shit.
Are they?
Yeah, they're like because they only follow trends. And now
Absolutely.
apparently it's natural, so they're all
Because
having.
you know what happens, ne? People start using these fillers, these Botox, all these products so early in life. From the age of like 19, people start using these things. And what happens is even some, I don't know, I'll just say it. So my partner used to do Botox as well. And he stopped quite recently. And the reason why he stopped is because he told me, he said, so it's great for like numbing you there. You're not moving those muscles, so it prevents wrinkles. But the problem is you get muscle, I forgot what the terminology is, that those muscles basically like
Atrophy.
Yes, you get muscle atrophy. And as a result, you become even saggier as time goes on because now your muscles aren't working. So you become dependent and you need more and more and more to keep stretching that area out until your face looks like a big bobblehead and you look like Simon Cowell, whose video I just sent to the producers.
Guys, the Simon Cowell clip it's really, I don't know what he did.
Yeah.
But he looks like a zombie, right? And by the way, in a similar clip that I saw this week,
yeah,
the guy who used to host Idol Seacrest, Ryan Seacrest,
I haven't seen him in so long.
He have you seen him? The eyes are all sunken. Yeah. He looks horrific.
He was so handsome.
Yeah, well, not anymore. Again, you can really screw this up.
Yeah. Here's
So
the Simon
let's
Cowell
take a
clip.
look at Simon Cowell. This is awful. And by the way, they're celebrating here, but
But the thing
Right?
that bothers me the most about him is the thing that he's never had fixed, and I don't know if you can, but it's his weird hair. It's
what's
like
wrong with the
a
hair?
strange middle parting thing that he's got.
I haven't noticed that ever.
That's so weird.
No, there's a lot wrong with
His
him.
face is too distracting, Leanne. I don't know
Yeah.
how you picked up the hair.
Oh, it's so weird. He's got this
the
weird
hair is really
middle parting thing.
No, I don't think the hair is the biggest issue for Simon Cowell. There's a lot. There are 200 things on the list before the hair.
Simon Cowell looks like the monster from George's Game.
But I'll tell you what, if you
Yeah.
guys are interested, I found a doctor in the UK who is an expert in all of this. And I will try to interview him next week and we'll play it out on the show. Because he's in the UK, he's one of the world's leading authorities on all of this stuff. Oh, wow. Whether it's, surgery, diet,
wow.
fitness, all of this stuff. And I'm going to interview him next week and then we'll play it out on the show. So there's
That would be
someone.
amazing.
Yeah.
Don't you feel like judged by someone like that?
Oh yeah. Well, all
Because they can see.
You'll be judged every
right
time you
through
walk
you.
into the building, the street, wherever you're going.
Even
in the
people who
shops.
aren't specialists can see some of these things. Hey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Leanne, in honor of your cat Saffron, we have a funeral play out while
You do?
Yes, while you leave the studio, we take a quick break, and Ben also has a message for us because he's off to the Ryder Cup this weekend, so he'll
Oh,
fill us
I
in
was-
on
I
some
was-
sport.
I was hoping Ben was here because he is a cat dad.
Yeah, shame. He would have commiserated with you. Unlike me
thank
and
you.
Oh, Mash did. Mash
Yes.
Mash was very kind to you.
Exactly.
You know what? I'll sing a song for you.
Oh boy.
Oh, Leanne.
Poor Leanne, poor Leanne, poor Leanne doesn't have her cats.
It was a black and
She
white cat that I
took it
lost
to
last
the
time.
vet and he said it should stay there. She just went and bought another cat. Is that all right?
That's fine. Thank you.
That's
Love
my
it.
most sensitive
Thank
attempt.
you.
All right, here's the picture, and this is for anybody who remembers all those years ago when Leanne first got the cat.
If there is one thing South Africans can truly celebrate on Heritage Day, it's their sports people. From the day that sport was invented in 1652, South Africans have been very good at them, with many going onto the world stage and becoming world champions. But who is South Africa's greatest ever sports person? Many will feel this is an impossible question, but with the return of Dimitri Leontakis to studio, we are determined to give you the ultimate answer. My various servers, web references, and quotes from the man himself tell me it is Gary Player. But for the sake of filling an hour and being more democratic, we're going to run through all possible candidates right here in this very special Heritage Day edition of the On The Bounce Show. Let's get into it.
I will never make my kids feel the way my dad made me feel growing up.
Oh, kosulavwa, mi kodwa man. Moshe Ndiki.
I'm a young father, mna. I'm a very, very young father. I'm not saying that you hated me, but your absence made it feel like that. It made me feel like that maybe there was something wrong with me. I can't say it was because I was gay, because that was later. Maybe that made things even worse.
Hey, base is tea. Base is tea.
Yeah.
I mean, I slept with a girl.
And how was that?
You're going inside now.
Yeah, how's it, guys? Sorry I couldn't join you this Friday. Currently on a plane over the Atlantic, going to New York to watch the Ryder Cup. So damn excited. Bethpage Black, it's going to be really incredible. So even if you aren't a major golf fan like I am, you can still watch the Ryder Cup this weekend because it's going to be all-out warfare. I mean, golf is golf, obviously, but it's as close as we'll ever get to like contact sport within the game. The American crowds on the east side are so rough, and it's already been rough the whole week. So lots of verbal abuse. Europe against all odds, trying for the win. First time they're going to win this since 2012. If they can get it done, and the Americans desperately trying to get the trophy back. So that's a major highlight for the weekend. Another big highlight for the weekend, of course, is the Boca versus Argentina in Durban. That game will be at 5 o'clock. The Boks have to win this one, and they probably have to win next one as well in London. It's so tightly contested, this rugby championship this year. It's been the best one ever. And Argentina are going to be so tough this weekend in Durban. They've actually been there for quite a while now. Not just because they want to pick up Durban chicks, but they just want to actually really make sure they can give themselves the best chance of winning this match. So the Boks are going to be up against the best Argentinian team probably ever, which is going to make for a really cool spectacle. So this weekend, major action in the Rugby Championship. The game before that, Australia versus New Zealand, will be around 7 o'clock from Eden Park. Another big one to watch. So Rugby Championship, Ryder Cup, that's just weekend sport. I will see you back next weekend. Follow me on social media for updates from the Bethpage itself. This is so exciting.
All right. Well, I told you at the beginning of the show we're going to talk to some people who are going to discuss with us new and interesting ways of doing investment. And also, it's about time. I know Bitcoin Bit in the comments is going to be excited as hell about this. But it's time we talked about crypto again, because it's been a while since we've had a regular thing on the show about crypto. But I was one of those people who in the beginning was a major early adopter. I loved the stuff. I bought a whole lot. I've bought and sold along the way. I think many people have. Some people have totally fallen off the wagon. Some people are so on the wagon that they're never going to sell. Their Bitcoin's going to go to the grave with them. But we'll find out this morning from somebody I actually know quite well, Warren Wheatley, who's also the CEO of the Africa Bitcoin Corporation. Is that it?
Yep.
But also Altvest. And I've seen all the Altvest billboards up all over the place. Congrats on that, Warren. It's going well, huh?
Yeah, no, it's going great. Thanks.
Yeah, it's nice to see you. And also, Stafford Maisie, who is the Director of Bitcoin Strategy. Stafford, nice to see you.
Nice to meet you.
Wearing
nice
the Bitcoin branding. I love it.
T-shirt.
All right. Yeah. So you guys are obviously true believers in the the crypto world. But what's been happening? Give us a couple of updates, and particularly for South Africans who are looking to invest differently. What kinds of things have happened since we last discussed this, which is probably 3 years ago on this show?
Should I tackle it from like an industry neutral perspective first, and then we'll get into kind of us?
Sure.
So obviously we represent Africa Bitcoin Corporation, and that's a name change for Altvest. But I think for South Africans, what's happened in the country is quite profound over the last 36 months. I am personally very engaged in an advisory capacity with the South African Reserve Bank, with the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, with a group within the South African Reserve Bank called the IFWG. It's an intergovernmental fintech working group. And these are the folks writing the legislation for crypto in South Africa. And we've been very forward-thinking. We've issued out clear legislation for folks that want to custody crypto and do crypto. So there's licenses that have been issued out. The JSE has now allowed us to launch a company in the way and the form that we've launched. So they're watching it. They're watching it closely. And I think we're quite excited about what's happening from an industry perspective, allowing this stuff to happen. Because the problem with crypto 3 years ago was regulatory nervousness. Like you didn't know.
What has happened in that respect? Because you mentioned the Reserve Bank, and I met with some people a while ago, probably about a year and a half ago, about what the relationships are now in this working group that you're talking about between the Reserve Bank. Obviously, the Department of Finance are in the background there looking too, because they want to know from a SARS point of view how you tax these kinds of things. Have we made major progress? Are there people in government who actually understand crypto?
Yeah, we do. We've made major progress. In fact, since we've engaged, clauses have actually changed. So there was a clause that clearly stated that no company on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange could actually issue out a security, i.e. a share, directly linked to crypto. Based upon our engagement and the forward-looking aspects that we see in the governmental departments, those clauses have been settled and they're gone. So we are capable of doing that now. But absolutely. But I think the big challenge in the industry is having tools to manage the industry. You know, it's not just an understanding, and the tools are still growing up. So as much as our decision makers want to do things that are forward-thinking, they also have to keep up with the maturity of the tools as they're growing, and it's happening now. So yeah, absolutely. I think the people that we have at SARB are incredible. The people that we have at the Johannesburg Stock Exchange are really, really good.
Okay.
SARS, FISCA, you name it. So our government is actually one of the most forward-looking and mature in this regard in the world.
Well, as I mentioned at the start of this, the Bitcoin Butch is one of the regulars here. He's got, I think he's currently, because we do this, we check on who the top fan. He's number one in the comments this morning, I had no doubt. He says, I'll add my comment. There is no better investment than Bitcoin. I took out 2 loans against my Bitcoin and applied for the 3rd this morning. Only Bitcoin. Fuck crypto.
No, I think he's absolutely, and I think it's not facetious. I think there's 2 aspects of that I've been trying to work with the legislators in South Africa is to remove Bitcoin from crypto.
Yeah.
Because Bitcoin is a digital commodity. It's digital property. It's the immaculate conception. Right, it's the Satoshi Nakamoto. It's got the guy that made it is gone.
You're giving it a lot of superlatives here.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the one that stands alone versus any of the others. And we have to, as a country, to legislate this world well and proper. You have to take a digital commodity that has complete sovereignty, autonomous
you can't
from
have
crypto.
A capricious government deciding what the value of your currency is and making terrible decisions and costing the people of that country. We've seen it happen. I mean, these. The South African economy keeps suffering because we have people who are making terrible decisions about the value of our money on a daily basis. Bitcoin is the best way to safeguard against that, and it's got nothing to do with any government.
Yeah, and I think it's a good segue to kind of what Warren and team have done. Yeah, what we've done is we've taken Altvest Capital, converted it to African Bitcoin Corporation, and I think it serves a demand and like a different set of people looking for exposure to this asset class. Maybe you want to give us some insight.
Well, let's start with who are those people, because there are people who already know and who own Bitcoin through various things. Maybe they've got their own wallet. Maybe they're buying it on an exchange. Maybe they've got some kind of trading platform that they use. What are you offering?
So, when you start thinking about what a Bitcoin treasury company is, there's been a well of them recently. I think over 200. There's a website called bitcointreasuries.net, and they track every single one of these Bitcoin treasury companies whether they're private, public, governmental, whatever. There's over 200 at last count, right? So you got to ask yourself, one of the first questions we get is, why would I just not buy Bitcoin myself? Now, a Bitcoin treasury company is a company that goes out and accumulates Bitcoin on its balance sheet. That's step one. Step two is, what do you actually do with the Bitcoin once it's on your balance sheet? And we've seen different strategies emerge, some successful, others not so successful. And the idea is that the Bitcoin company can buy Bitcoin quicker and more effectively than an individual could. That's the sort of high-level thesis. A company's got more levers than an individual has. Like,
So is it essentially a bit of arbitrage? I mean, you can kind of get in there, you cost a little less, move a little faster.
those are some of the levers, but not the major ones, right? So a corporation, as an example, can access capital markets. You can go to the bond market and say, give me 2 billion, and then you can go and buy Bitcoin with it. An individual can't do that. I've tried. They say no. Right? You've also got the ability to issue equity, and that's important. Now, so what these companies do, the trend has been to you start issuing equity. In other words, you ask people to become shareholders in the business, and you go out and buy Bitcoin. And you hope the Bitcoin goes up, and with it, your equity value, and then you can issue more. So oftentimes people say, but that's dilutive because you keep issuing shares. But the kind of folk who like these investments are less concerned about being diluted from a shareholding perspective, which governs the percentage you own in the company. What they're more worried about is, do I own more Bitcoin per share I own?
Right.
So in other words, if you just buy one Bitcoin, or even if you buy a Bitcoin ETF, the amount of Bitcoin you own remains static over time.
Correct.
Right? But if I buy one Bitcoin, if I buy one share in the Africa Bitcoin Corporation, and Stafford and I's job is to get more Bitcoin per share. So you'll start off with, let's say, 1 Bitcoin per share. But through our activity, in a year's time, hopefully you own 2 Bitcoin per share on a look-through basis, and so on and so on. And so we use different capital market levers to ensure we can buy more Bitcoin and increase your Bitcoin per share. And that's the major metric that people look at when gauging the success of these companies. But why would we do it? We're trying to think of novel ways to use the Bitcoin. And what we've sculpted for ourselves is true to Altvest's ethos. So Altvest was always envisioned to be a company that generates access to capital markets and to assets that people can't ordinarily get access to. So Bitcoin is a natural progression of what we do. But moreover, we also provide funding to SMEs. So that part of Altvest continues to exist. It's just called Altvest Capital Solutions.
Right.
And it's a division of the Africa Bitcoin Corporation. Now, the way to think about us is, and this is a great segue into the history discussion you guys were having. If you look at the history of banks, the history of insurance companies, and how they structured themselves using various instruments over time. Mostly it was government bonds or treasury bills, gold sometimes. And those have proven effective up to a point in terms of galvanizing a balance sheet. But, you know, if a bond drops in half, suddenly a bank's capital adequacy drops in half, and they've got to make a call on shareholders and that kind of thing. So in our country, for example, you have this concept called the shareholder of reference that needs to be loaded, that anytime those kind of shocks to the system happen, you can just tap them for equity. Now, that's not something that a Bitcoin treasury company would go through if you manage your balance sheet correctly. So instead of putting soybeans on our balance sheet, or oil or gold or government bonds or
You put
money
Bitcoin.
market, we've got Bitcoin. What that's going to do over time is give us an almost indestructible balance sheet that allows us to go into capital markets and command better interest rates from capital markets.
So who would you be replacing here? Like brokers and people in the investment world?
I think the question is not replace. So it's kind of augmentation. So let's get back to the question.
Well, I mean, this is quite novel because you're buying shares in a company
Right.
where you guys are overall increasing the value over time. And not just with Bitcoin, but primarily that's going to be the spine of the whole thing. And then you're going to add other things to it. I mean, that sounds like a very interesting idea. And I think probably a lot of people would go, that's more likely to be a good investment over time because of the Bitcoin than if I had to buy shares in a construction company or if I had to buy shares in a gold mining company. Right? So I think we get that part.
Yeah, that's true. But coming back to like who's the addressable market for this? I think you get the Bitcoiners, the folks that want to own Bitcoin.
Yeah.
They the cypherpunks, not your keys, not your coin. They want to hold their stuff in cold storage on ledger sticks. They want to imprint key phrases onto metal and steel. Those folks we love, and we continually we love that, and we want people to always do that. But there's folks that are not cypherpunks. And I think those folks want to own a security. They want to own something like a share. They don't want to own cold storage. They don't want to know anything about cold storage.
Right.
And I think for them, a security like this makes a lot of sense. I buy the share, and it gives me exposure to Bitcoin. I like that. Okay, I'm not a cypherpunk, never going to be. I'm a high net worth individual. I want to buy 60 million rands worth of Bitcoin. Don't tell me about not your keys, not your coin. This is a great thing.
Right.
Then you get somebody that wants levered exposure. So like Warren said, they want to outperform Bitcoin. So that's our role. Africa Bitcoin Corporation exists to outperform Bitcoin all the time. And what we mean by that is we want to increase the BTC yield, the Bitcoin yield in our business, which means we want to accretively dilute, increment the Bitcoin, and give you more Bitcoin per share. That's what we're all about. Now, people that love that are folks that want more Bitcoin per share, but also capital markets, fixed income markets, pension funds. There's so many pools of capital in the world that represent about 400 to 500 trillion dollars that can't get exposure to Bitcoin.
Many of those pools of money, and we know that even in this country, despite the predations of so many, there are still people who are trying to look after their investments. There are these massive stockpiles of money that people have saved or invested and that has been put aside for them for their retirement or whatever it might be. And are they nervous about Bitcoin still, or are they starting to look at investments the way you're talking about them this morning?
I think if you want to understand our world and why we're doing it, is not to understand Bitcoin better, than to understand fiat more.
Yeah.
Debasement is a big issue.
Huge.
Right, huge. So inflation, interest rates. Very simply put, we always say this. Your groceries are not getting more expensive. Your money is getting weaker.
Yes.
That's the basis of what's happening in the fiat world today. So just like if we pause there, if you can understand that to the depth that you need to understand it, then you'll understand how broken money is. And why does the money break? Why does the money get weaker? Why, when you store as a young person your time and energy in a bank, that 5 years later the buying power has dropped by 40 to 50%? That's the same challenge a corporation has. Where do you put your money today? Do you go buy government bonds? Do you go buy other things? So what's in the world today, there's about $500 trillion of capital in the world. And we're talking savings, etc., trying to run away from debasement, trying to run away from money getting weaker. And we need perfect money. And Bitcoin is that perfect base because it's so scarce. The 21 million, it's getting scarcer, and in that scarcity lies the value.
Okay, so Warren, I mean, you guys at African Bitcoin Corporation, you're talking about putting money into small and medium businesses that can create jobs, because we know that it's all good and well for people who are smart enough and agile enough to be able to move money around, whatever money they have, and then invest carefully, and they can make good returns on that if they're smart. And clearly what you're proposing here is smart too. But most people are just trying to survive. And in South Africa, we've got major unemployment problems. We don't live in a vacuum. You don't live on an island. You've got to pay attention to your surroundings. And clearly, those small and medium businesses need a bit of help. because they're the only ones who can lift the economy up. So what's the association there, and how does that come into it?
So when we first started Altwest Capital, the idea was to create to connect capital to ideas, right? So we found a novel way using a perpetual preference share to fund equity positions in businesses. That, incidentally, is the same way guys like Strategy are now funding Bitcoin purchases. So it's technology we had developed as. In fact, South Africa was the first listed exchange ever to issue these perpetual preference shares. That was an Alt-West invention.
Nice.
It's been used across the world now. The only difference is we used it to buy like the family restaurant in Melville and a few others. We also then quickly realized that equity wasn't the solution for everyone. Some people just want a loan. They want to get their business going, give you the money back, and carry on. So we created a fund called the Altwest Credit Opportunities Fund. That's the one where you'll see it's girls with big hair and funny glasses. So it's
I drove past one this morning.
Yeah. That is structured to give businesses low-cost loans. Now, low-cost in this environment means...
Because the banks aren't helping them, right? Yeah.
Altwest Capital has a loan with an overdraft with Nedbank. So I'm going to go out and say it.
Go on.
The overdraft is secured with cash.
Yeah.
Right. That's the collateral they demanded.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, why would you ever need an overdraft if you already have the cash?
Now, the only reason I was able to do that is because of our treasury. We need to keep treasury assets because we're a financial services business. So I had to keep the cash anyway. But in the ordinary course of events, I would have told them,
Get
makes
screwed.
no sense.
Yeah. But then this shows you again the plight, and I love this idea of these loans and the equity arrangements that you make with businesses, because the access to capital is often what keeps them either in a very, very survival-based state, or they actually go under. They can't sustain the business because they can't get access to money.
So let me just paint the picture here, right? Once you're escorted out of Standard Bank's lobby after your loan's been declined, the next stop you make is one of the SME funders, right?
Yeah.
And there's lots of them. There's not a lack of funders. What the problem is that your starting loan is 36% per annum.
It's like the Mashonisas, huh?
Yeah, 3% a month, those kind of rates.
Right, crippling.
But the cool thing is, and one of the best things about what we do is we meet South African entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Our guy who can run a business paying off a loan at 36% is an absolute rock star.
Yes.
So we try and get below 20. We have to do secured loans, and we get money from pension funds and other long-term investors. Excuse me. Now, where does Bitcoin fit into this? I don't have a balance sheet right now, right? So it's a long slog where I have to say, give me 150 million. I promise I'll use it responsibly. If I lose it, there's probably nothing you can do to me because you can see the balance sheet. Pension funds, to their credit, are still taking the risk in pursuance of this objective.
Yeah, but you didn't come out of nowhere. I mean, you've run some big companies, so you've got a reputation.
Yeah.
People know and trust you.
But the point is, if we build up a balance sheet that say got 21,000 Bitcoin on it, funded mostly by equity, that discussion's a lot easier. Then I can go to sovereign wealth funds and say, give me debt at 8%, and I promise to give it to entrepreneurs at 10%. I can't have that discussion if I don't have a balance sheet, or if I've got a balance sheet that's filled with Mexican pesos or something else. So that's the idea. And that's where Bitcoin fits into the picture, is that it's going to make those kinds of discussions a lot easier. And we want to pass that. We want to use that pristine asset to access cheap capital to pass it on to SMEs.
I also think there's a beautiful play that's very synergistic with the traditional Altvest business. So in the United States, they've discussed it. They call it bit bonds.
Mm-hmm.
So the United States government is thinking about taking their treasuries and mixing it up with Bitcoin. So if you buy a treasury, like a 10-year, for whatever the price may be, 90% of it is fiat and 10% of it goes to Bitcoin. And that Bitcoin, as it matures, can either pay off the loan. So what we could do is a bit bond with the SMME. So if you make a 5 million rand loan, we'll give you 4 million rand, and maybe 1 million rand goes towards a Bitcoin purchase that we hold in the treasury. And as Bitcoin grows, it could outperform your loan and settle it. And it becomes an additional securitization pillar underneath the facility that we provide you. And this is how we could kind of cross-pollinate into our treasury, and we could Bitcoinize SMMEs in South Africa.
But there are still those people running around saying, Bitcoin's not going to go up anymore, and it's this is its ceiling, and it's not going to get any better. Obviously, you guys don't believe that, or you wouldn't be doing what you're doing. Is there still a large cohort of traditional business people, investors, these corporations who've made these decisions for 100 years, who will just not touch anything to do with Bitcoin?
But that's why we're so early.
Yeah.
But that's the point. Right? And that's why
they are still there, right?
Yeah, they're there. But from my technological experience, I saw in the early 90s, I saw the internet. I worked for Telkom, and we saw the internet before the internet had a user interface. We told everyone how big it was going to be. People said, no way. Then in the late 90s, we saw open source software.
Right.
We kind of knew how big that was going to be, and people said, no way. The .com thing happened in Boozman. I've constantly seen this from a technological perspective where people kind of underestimate something, and then when they learn about it, they overestimate something, and then they again underestimate it in the long term. And I think from a Bitcoin perspective, the ups and downs, for us, it's an asset class that is probably the most undervalued in the entire world today.
And speaking of asset classes, there are new ways of investing in new things, renewable energy, property, sport, entertainment. How does all of that work, Warren?
From an Altvest perspective, so we use this perpetual preference share mechanism to give people access to those kinds of assets.
Just what is that? Because you touched on it earlier. You said it's been adopted across other stock exchanges in the world, and you guys invented that.
Yeah, I think.
Or put it into play.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Cool.
So what a perpetual preference share is that it's an instrument that can be issued by a company. Now, this sounds off the bat horrible for an investor. So it's like taking a loan. It doesn't rank. It's not as secure as a loan. And it's preferred over your ordinary shares. So in the capital stack of a company, you've got the ordinary shares. Those are the last survivors and the guys who get paid last in the event of failure. Then you've got preference shareholders, and then you've got debt. Now, debt by its nature must be paid back. You take a loan, and you determine when and how you're going to give it back. Now, a preference share can be either redeemable, in which case it means the company at some point is going to give it back, or it could be perpetual. Now, perpetual means you're never going to give the money back. And the owner of that instrument will own it forever unless they sell it on the secondary market. What that does is it takes all the pressure of performance off the company. Right. And so you can go ahead, you get equity, which doesn't need to be serviced, and you get none of the covenants of debt that need to go with it, and none of the pressure associated with debt. So we use that instrument to give people access to private equity. Now, one of the reasons private equity is not accessible to ordinary people is because, number one, you need large amounts of money to participate, but you also need patience, right? So a typical private equity transaction is 15 years. You get 10-year vintages, 12-year, but typically 15, and that's how long you need to wait to see your returns. So it's not the kind of investment that if you overspend in December, you can cash in January, and someone will cash it in for you, but they'll give you 10 cents in the rand. So we created this perpetual instrument that people could buy and sell on the exchange, and we use the funds to buy private equity, and we hold it on their behalf. But them wanting to exit, they can sell on the market, and it doesn't disrupt the underlying asset. So
Okay.
that's the technology we use to make private equity accessible. And it's the same thing with a Bitcoin treasury company. We take the investment from the public, use it to buy Bitcoin and develop the strategy, and they can exit at will without putting pressure on and disrupting the strategy of the business by me
Right.
having to redeem it.
Yeah, because
every time.
there were some questions about that too. So I think you just answered a few of those as well, about how you buy and sell, for example. Because a lot of people are used to using exchanges, and then they can go on there and decide in a minute what you want to do: buy, sell, put in more, whatever you need to do.
Now, for sports teams, as an example, we try to use this to fund the Springboks.
Okay.
They're not interested, but
No, we're still going to go at it, though.
It's like,
We want to buy the Springboks.
yeah, but I
Yeah.
mean, what do you mean buy them?
So they try to do a private equity deal, which is one of the worst deals people, and that's why there was such a fuss. All the upside was with the private equity buyers, and there were large amounts of debt. Now, the problem with a sports team and debt is you don't want to have to sell 10 of your best players when the debt becomes due, right?
Well, it'd be called slavery, so that's not a good idea.
Yeah, but I mean, even
Human
sell it to
trafficking.
another team, or
Yeah.
the transfers, that kind of stuff. So what you want is this kind of instrument so that you can run the team,
Yeah.
and if the sports, if the fan changes allegiance, he can sell out that share and buy
Right.
something else.
Okay.
At the same time, how many Bafana flags can you own? So the idea is you would buy one flag and 10 shares, and
Okay.
and that could be that could be your certificate that shows how big a fan you are.
Right.
You've seen at stadiums,
And you're
right?
you're technically an owner,
Yeah,
right?
Well,
Of
not
course.
technically, you are an owner.
Well, yes, but I mean, for a lot of people, it's about other people knowing that they're an owner.
Yeah,
So
spot
you've
on.
got that certificate, you're happy.
Yeah, you've seen guys at stadiums, right?
Yes.
To prove themselves as a fan, they've got
Right.
8 scarves on,
Yeah.
right? And 5
And a
hats.
makarapa, and yeah.
They take the share certificates or a screenshot of their easy equities.
I'm an owner.
account.
Yeah.
And then it allows, for example, the sports team to do cool things. So if you reach, say, 10,000 shares, you can come and watch practices, as an example, those kind of things. So it's a way to monetize
And for the
make
sports team,
people
then they have
shareholders.
access to capital.
Mm.
Yeah. No, it makes a lot of sense. I think this is terrific. Because there are going to be lots of people who are interested in this, and if you are interested in finding out more about Altfest 2, where can we go?
So we've got a website now, the Africa Bitcoin Corporation.
ABC, just remember that. African Bitcoin Corporation.
To
not
spell
the-
it out, it's
Right.
long. If you can spell it,
Africa Bitcoin
Africa
Okay,
Bitcoin
good.
Corporation.
Not African Bitcoin. AfricaBitcoinCorporation.com.
Right. And on there, you'll see all the investment opportunities, and also how to buy. So the shares are on. We're doing a book build right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the Africa Bitcoin Corporation for a very specific reason.
What is that reason?
It's going to be for Africa. Now, a lot of people make noise about that and pretend that they are Pan-African.
Yeah.
One of the things, Steph made a comment that people overestimate things sometimes. One of the things we overestimate is the interconnectivity of our money systems. In some ways, we're very connected, but you try and buy a share in Nigeria, impossible. You have someone in the US try to buy a share in the JSE. 3 weeks into your KYC, you're going to give up. And so what we've gone ahead and done is set out a schedule where we're going to be listing on exchanges throughout Africa to make those local communities able to access the instrument easier. And that's not just talk. Next week, Thursday, we do our first listing in Namibia. It's then we've got a schedule. We'll see Botswana, Nigeria, Nairobi, and every other region that will have us. And so we're going to have a flywheel of liquidity where a South African will hold and we'll have what we call a single share register across the world. We're also listing in London and in New York. So someone in London will be able to buy the share and sell it to someone in Egypt, say.
Brilliant.
And that's the idea, is that we become this corporation for the entire African continent and deploy that SME model in every across the continent.
I think it's important to, that the pent-up demand for exposure to Bitcoin is enormous. In Namibia, you can't buy, legally,
really?
you can't buy Bitcoin.
Wow.
You keep going to all the African countries and it's either illegal on that, but they can buy a share.
Right.
That gives them some exposure to Bitcoin.
Clever.
So and if we get these exchanges to list us, and we're right on path to do it, that liquidity funnels in. And that's why usually with Bitcoin treasury companies, you find one company like us in a region. So in Japan, you got MetaPlanet. In the UK, you've got Smarter Web Company.
Right.
In the United States, you've got Strategy. In Brazil, you've got a company that just launched called Orange. And you normally have one dominant player. And it's simply because you have to work very closely with the regulators. And then once you open up all those channels, the amount of flooding that comes in is quite profound. And so we're excited about that. I mean, the pent-up demand across the African continent is significant.
It sounds terrific. There is the info up on screen right now. And as we said, you can find it easily, africabitcoincorporation.com. So Warren, Stafford, thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thanks
Good to see you.
us.
Thanks for coming in to visit us.
We need to get you a Bitcoin hat, hey?
Yeah, I love it. Those are only worn by very, very rich people, as far as I can tell. I haven't seen anyone poor with a proper Bitcoin
That's why
hat.
I'll say it again. We need to get you one of that.
As long as, I'm sure that there's someone already working on a Fong Kong version downtown in Joburg. I'm sure we can find those as well.
Were there any comments from Bitcoin Boot?
Yeah, well, him and Wade says modern monetary theory can't find peace between the goose and the gander. Snowballing rental properties, e-coin ownership, investment, etc. are money for nothing, but the gander pays nothing. Okay, so do you agree with that from Wade?
Yep, that's the fiat thing. He's spot on.
Apparently, Bitcoin Boot says you can't trade US dollars in Nigeria, but you can trade USDC.
Yeah, he's talking about stable coins. And that's a different aspect of crypto. Yeah, those are stable coins. And stable coins are just merely frictionless money.
Right.
It's not Bitcoin.
Bitcoin Boot says he'll buy a hat from you. There we go.
No, buy a share. That's
buy
what
a
we
share,
want to
rather.
do. Buy a share. Yeah.
Very good. Okay, thank you, everybody. That's a look at some stuff that we haven't actually discussed for a long time that I think is absolutely important. And you gotta look after this, because no one's going to look after it for you. You know, they're all trying to get their hands on your money. I took my car in for a service last week, and they wanted to charge me like 70 or 80,000 rand to do like basic stuff, and I thought, you guys are insane. You lost your minds. So we'll have to see. Marius agrees. He says, I went out for earlier retirement. I had enough to live on. 15 years later, I can pay my rate. And every year I have to take less as my capital's disappearing. Yeah, that's what you got to do. You got to look for different ways to look after your own money. Okay, very good. Comment section's alive and well. I want to get Mash back in here, and we do have another guest popping in as well. So busy morning. That guest is none other than Robert Benetto, who's also in business, and we'll talk to him about his feelings around South Africa economically, politically. There's so much to talk about there. But we'll get to that in a moment or two. Before that, I want to ask Mash quickly. Yes, because you discovered that 46% of Gen Z workers, now these are people who aren't even new in the workforce. They've been there 5 to 10 years, some of them, but they're certainly not like retiring. But 46% of Gen Z workers have already accessed their retirement savings.
Absolutely, Gareth. These are people just under 28 and downwards.
How do you access? I mean, Are you allowed to access your retirement savings before you're like 65?
You are allowed to. Remember, we now have that the two-pot system.
Oh, yeah.
So you
where
can
yeah,
dip
right.
in quickly,
And
take
that's
a bit
what
of
people
money.
were doing.
And people are just dipping in now simply because the cost of living is so high.
But they want to buy smoothies and fucking sneakers and shit, right?
The truth is, yes, everybody is guided by this need
Yeah, they're
for...
not investing in property or
They're not
Bitcoin
investing.
like Warren was saying.
They want the latest
they're buying
iPhone.
bullshit. Yeah.
They're like, the latest iPhone starts at 28,000. Oh, okay, that's my two-pot. Two-pot actually
Right.
got 30,000. Buy the phone. The 2,000 Rand covers Apple Care and a cover. And I'm done.
And now you have half of your retirement savings.
Yeah.
So when you get old, as one of the comments was saying just now, Marius was saying, you have no money left. And
You
you
have no money
wonder
left.
whose fault that is.
Yeah.
Well, it's yours if you fell for this two-pot thing.
But
That's terrifying.
I did do some research though on what are some of the underlying reasons for this.
Yeah.
And so this is what I came up with. So the first one is high cost of living and inflation. Well, it makes sense because the rising cost of housing, fuel, food, and healthcare, it's just so high that people are struggling to keep up. But
Right.
those are needs. Another thing is wants. So the debt burdens. Everybody is under some kind of debt, Gareth. Everybody's trying to keep up with everybody. Social media is leading us into this thing where everybody wants to reach. Because actually, I'll give you a good example of what I'm trying to say exactly. Everybody wants to live a lifestyle that they feel like is better than people their own age.
Because they see this stuff on social media.
Yes. So they're like, I want to drive the latest whatever, the latest newest car before everyone my age does. I wanna brag about how I'm only 28 and I have 2 houses, I have 2 cars. That's what everybody wants to brag about. Nobody actually cares about living and about what.
And again,
things that
showing
matter.
this stuff off to people they don't even know.
Yes.
Right? It's bizarre.
It's so weird. Another reason is it says here, emergency and lack of savings cushion. So of course people aren't saving anymore. Well, how can you save when you're just stuck
You're
in
like
debt?
one paycheck not being paid away
Yes.
from bankruptcy.
Exactly. I mean, I saw Vodacom and all these cell phone companies are now offering 48-month contracts. What are you going to do with a 48-month contract? That's 4 years, Gareth. Who wants to own a phone for 4 years to begin with? That you're paying for 2,000 Rand a month. So people are digging themselves into these holes. Gen Zs, rather, are digging themselves into these. We are digging ourselves into these holes, trying to keep up with the Joneses, trying to be better than our peers and trying to look like we're doing well. And in reality, nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares, unfortunately. And another one is job instability and gig economy work. So a lot of Gen Zs are doing gig economy work. So they're freelancing, they're like just trying to get by. And job stability is also a bit shaky.
So you
at
have
the
1
moment.
month where you make a lot of money, the next month
Yeah.
you make none.
And you blow all that money. You don't even save it.
Right.
You buy the latest iPhone. I'll keep using iPhone as an example because the 17
Well, they
just
just
dropped
brought
this
out a
week.
new one, yeah.
And it already has some issues, but we'll talk about that.
All right. I do want to move on to Robert. So Robert Bonetto is a South African operations research scientist. He's also a chief technical officer and public speaker. He's got extensive experience in computational complexity, which is something we haven't ever discussed on the show, I can promise you. But Robert, it's very nice to have you here. You're based in Joburg, and you want to talk about a bunch of different things, some of it political, some of it to do with the way our systems work and what could work better. And there's been a lot of news this week that we can touch on too. But it's nice to have you here. Thanks for coming in.
No, thanks for having me.
Sure.
I think maybe let's maybe make it more about policy than politics.
Okay.
Right? Because I think that's something that's universal. You don't have to be political to be sensible, right?
So you're a concerned citizen who has some better ideas than the politicians, which is like 90% of us.
Yeah, I think
the politicians have terrible ideas.
My life changed radically a few years ago when I had kids, and it's a bit of a recalibration because you start to plan sort of 20 years ahead,
right?
And you think, okay, well, I can get by right now and do my own thing, but you know, what world do I want my children growing up in down the line, right? And there are definitely questionable policies that we have that's independent of whoever's running the country that we should probably be addressing. You know, I think that's really where I'm coming from.
I love that. So let's start with where you'd want to make the biggest policy changes. Where could South Africa have some easy wins?
Yeah, the simplest one that I can see is on the BEE side. And BEE is a bit of a contentious issue because on one side of the coin, we would all agree that we need transformation that works, right? Every South African, it's almost undeniable that every South African would want a stronger middle class.
Sure.
And the majority of people in South Africa were oppressed, right?
Mhm.
And so you need to have policies that correct for that in the long run, not in the short term, in the long run. So BEE is a bit of a stick because what do we do with BEE? We turn around to business and say, if you must comply, you must do this, you must do that.
Well, we're even doing this with foreign businesses who have nothing to do with the history of this country. And quite rightly, the Trump administration recently asked why they need to give away free shares to some friend of Cyril Ramaphosa's just so that they can do business in South Africa.
Yeah, so that's a very contentious point, right? Because there are a lot of historic deals that were done in South Africa that who were BEE compliant, but there were no true BEE benefactors.
No, they just made ANC honchos rich.
Okay, so we can agree that the system in its current encapsulation isn't really
disaster.
ideal in terms of benefiting the maximum number of people.
You say isn't ideal, I say disaster.
Sure. But the problem is that government doesn't see it that way. They see it as this is a policy that they need.
No, they love it because that's how they've made their money.
Sure. So I think
MASH hasn't made any. You haven't got any BE deals lined up, have you?
Nothing.
See, this is the problem.
Because
They don't come knocking in Klerksdorp. That's the problem.
Absolutely.
Unless you have a ringside seat at Luthuli House, and the closer your seat is to the ring, there's no chance that you'll have
benefits
BE.
people at the top.
There's nothing exactly.
Yeah. So that's the question: is how do you turn it into something that greases the cogs of South Africa's economy, right? Because that's ideally what you want.
Not the palms. Greases the cogs,
the cogs,
not
not
the
the
palms.
palms. There you go.
All right, so what's your idea?
So my thing is, I can see a few problems with it, but one thing that makes a lot of sense to me is to, rather than say these are requirements that must be met by business, you make them optional. So you turn on and you say, you know what, these are the BEE criteria that we would ideally like every business to comply with. And here's the benefit of compliance. So you convert it into a carrot rather than the stick. And there's a couple of countries that have done this in different parts of the world where they want to drive some sort of transformation or some sort of job growth or opportunity. And they do this through rebates, right? So the classic example is Ireland, right? Why do Facebook, Google, Amazon, all of them have their head offices domiciled in Ireland?
Taxes are lower.
The tax deduction, but the tax deduction comes at a price. You must employ Irish people and you must create jobs.
That's such a smart, valid point, because if you think about South African corporations, obviously the very big ones, they comply in every way and they get nothing for it.
Well, you get the opportunity to work with government, right? So if your BE compliance
which is the biggest
high
player
enough,
in the economy, but that could be used as a carrot rather than a stick.
100%. So you get sliding scales of this. So if you're completely non-compliant in a place like Ireland, for example, you get no tax rebate, and that's fine. So maybe your business isn't well suited to employing a lot of Irish people, but they were in a very tricky position because they don't really have an economy. You know, we've got huge industry around South Africa. We've got railways, we've got exports, we've got mining, minerals,
Space, labor.
Yeah, huge amounts, right? Whereas Ireland is largely Guinness and dairy, right? That's what you can do with the land. They don't have mining, minerals. They don't have stuff they can export.
The occasional Hollywood movie.
and the occasional movie, and maybe a few episodes of Game of Thrones where it's nice to look at.
Right.
But that's the catch, right? So they needed something that said, well, how do we create a business? How do we create assets and investment and this huge pull into the country, right? We have to create an industry out of nothing, out of thin air, essentially. And they did it with this huge carrot where they just said, here are the incentives to moving your company here. We'll just tax you less. And the benefits to them are huge. So you could argue that this is a very unfair arbitrage opportunity because now other governments are going to miss out on the tax.
So,
but all they've done is undercut the rest of the market. So if you have your head office here, you pay a huge tax. Bring your head office here. We're very kind
I
to you.
like that. That's a very practical idea. What about Transnet? Do you have ideas around that?
Yeah, Transnet. Transnet's a tricky one because it's another cog that needs greasing. Transnet's it's a long story of really an unfair situation. I think often when we talk about economic growth, Transnet is one of those things that comes up as a result of people will say, but the railways don't work.
Right.
And there's a very interesting reason why they don't work. And unfortunately, like most things in South Africa, you really have to wind the clock back 50 years. So if you look at the end period of apartheid, what the government was doing was running on emergency gas, right? They were in all hands on deck.
They'd spent too much money and had too much
Well,
debt,
also because of the
among other
sanctions, the coffers were running dry.
Right.
I mean, we'd learned to make fuel from coal. We'd done a lot of things internally to try and become self-sustaining. And one of the things that suffered as a result of that was the railway. So you need to, almost in your mind's eye, picture a whole bunch of blood vessels running through the country, right? And we have these big arteries like the National Corridor, our export lines, and then branching off from these is what represents small business, right? And so you have branch lines around the country. And these are lines that don't receive a lot of traffic and they don't run profitably, right? Because, if I've got a little timber company down there and I need, 10 wagons once a month, this is not profitable for Transnet as an entity. And what the apartheid government did towards the end of their time in power is they shut down all the branch lines that weren't profitable, right? So they actually restricted a lot of small business growth.
Small towns stopped having stations that worked.
100%. And this was done to try and preserve the entity, to try and keep it financially stable without depleting the balance of what was left in the coffers. Fast forward to 1994 and a new owner, you talk about your car and maintenance. I like this analogy. You buy a new car, you ask the previous owner, does it run well? They're like, runs perfectly, here are the keys, have fun. Oh. And so, coming in blind, they didn't have a lot of experience around the railway. So what happened was they said, well, let's look at what the previous guys were doing and let's make sure we don't mess this up and just do it the same way that they were doing it before us. And this was a huge mistake because, in fact, the previous owner had been neglecting the maintenance on this vehicle to a large degree. I was very fortunate over the years. I've had the opportunity. I worked with Transnet for about 7 years through a private company. And I've seen such fascinating things around the country. And I mean, one of the first locomotives that I saw was about 40 years old. Now, your replenishment cycle is supposed to be around 30 years on a locomotive. Can you imagine if your car was still running and you were still driving it 40 years from now? No. So part of the reason, and we've had locomotive replenishment cycles and other things subsequently to that, but we went through this huge era of neglect because really the guys that took over and had to start running this vehicle called Transnet, it wasn't actually in as good a state as people would have thought it would be.
So would your suggestion be to reinvigorate that and even to run at a loss if necessary?
So there's a bit, So this is the thing is governments actually, the world over, don't run railways at a profit, right?
Okay.
And that's strictly on the books because when you look at railways, the actual way that you do it is, because remember, you're the government, right? You own the infrastructure. So you plow money in, and we've had incredible capital investment into our railways. Like, you take a country like the US, you would think that their railways are some of the best in the world. It's vast and expansive. There's almost no electrification, right? We have a very, very dense electrical network, and one of the perks of that is marginal cost is much lower. It's 7 times cheaper to run an electric locomotive than a diesel locomotive. So our total running cost comes down because we've got infrastructure that's been invested into that's going to last, the next 40, 50 years before it needs to be replenished. Just going back to your, sorry, you asked something just before that. And
would we run it at a loss?
Oh, run it at a loss.
Would it be worth bringing it back and fixing it and getting it going?
So governments do run them at a loss because where they make their money back is on taxes. So you run your railway at a loss, you stimulate the economy, and you get your money back over here. So it's an accounting issue.
We know that this could do wonders for small towns that have become disaster dumps.
Yeah, hugely. I mean, the other thing is your general distribution cost goes up hugely. We're one of the few countries in the world that has an internal port in City Deep. Containers arrive in Durban, they get put on a train, they don't have to clear customs, they arrive in Joburg, then they clear customs. Hugely efficient, right? But the problem is we don't get enough traffic and throughput through. And a lot of this is operational complexity and other things that factor in. But it's very unusual, actually. South Africa is hugely unusual in many ways. But one of the interesting things is that our government in South Africa, or let's say the state-owned enterprise, owns both the infrastructure and the rolling stock, right? And this is very atypical. So if take a country like Australia, just as an example, and this is very typical around the world, is the government will own the infrastructure because the infrastructure is going to outlast any private company, right?
Right.
And this is why governments have an obligation to invest in railways, right? So your railway lines are going to be around for the next 100 years. Small companies should not be tasked with managing that infrastructure because it's unlikely that they'll be here in 20 years, right? That's the nature of
Good
capitalism.
point.
So governments have this huge onus to invest in the infrastructure and manage it. But the government in Australia, for example, doesn't operate the train, right? And the reason for this is that's got to be your capitalist competitive layer on top of it. private companies can rent track time from the government, right? And they pay for it. And like an airport, if you miss your flight, Gareth, on the way down to Cape Town, you've missed your flight, you pay for it, you book another flight. That is how 99% of railways around the world operate. You buy a slot from the government. You say, I'd like to run a train at 9 o'clock from, I don't know, Ermelo to Urgis. Off you go, right? If you miss that slot, done. You're going to have to buy another one. And so government creates a revenue stream that's largely predictable from the carriers that operate on the line. And then you have carriers that can compete on service level, And so this is one of the problems we have in South Africa is the two are married together and the two participate in a way that's, I would say, not as optimal as it could be in terms of the way that the railways could operate.
I love this, and you're giving us a lot of detail, and that proves that you know what you're talking about. Have you ever tried to suggest any of this to the powers that be?
So the wheels are
you
turning.
Getting any?
I think it's interesting. There's a lot of
there.
It's difficult because I think as a state-owned enterprise, there's a lot of pride wrapped up in Transnet, and so it takes a lot for it to ultimately collapse. Brazil is a good example of this, where they hit critical failure. They ran a Transnet-like company in Brazil for a number of years, and eventually a new government came in and they realized that it was do or die time, and they privatized the carrier network. So ALL Logistica, which would be kind of our equivalent of a Barloworld and Imperial, came together. They raised the debt from the government to buy the entire railway rolling stock and all the infrastructure. And then they operated like a private network. One of the first things this was about 25 years ago now, the first thing that they did was they threw out all the chairs in the boardrooms. And they said, if you have time to sit, you're not running a railway. And so there was a huge mindset, philosophy change. It was a big upheaval. But as a result, they run one of the most efficient railways in the world now as a result. They also do coal export and a couple of other things. And so it's
kind of is you're arguing against yourself here by saying privatized railways can't work as well.
No, well, they can. So that's the rolling stock portion. So government still holds the keys to the physical railway line. So think of infrastructure.
Obviously, it has to be smaller, it has to be wieldy, and it has to make sense. And you've got to have enough money coming in and enough money to spend on maintenance. But when you're talking about it from a South African point of view with Transnet, you're obviously talking about a completely different kettle of fish.
Yeah, Transnet is more tricky, and we also South Africa's vast. Hey, we're 23% of the size of the US.
Yeah,
right. We're actually quite a big country geographically, which is one of the perks
of
living here.
You don't think of South Africa as being almost a quarter of the size of the United States.
And people always talk about the US, and it's so vast and everything else. But geez, South Africa is enormous.
I mean, there are parts of the Northern Cape I'm sure that no one has ever been to.
Quite possibly, yeah.
I mean, there are only 20 people in the Northern Cape, right? Yeah.
Robert, it would make for a great solar farm.
You used to have a station in Klerksdorp. A train station? I'm sure there is.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I'm sure there is.
It's never run.
No. Yeah. Of course, not in your lifetime.
But Robert, quick one. So do you think Transnet is capable of the change that you're suggesting? Because these are the same people who can't even order trains that fit on the tracks.
Yeah. So that's a common misconception. So
that's Prasa, wasn't
Prasa.
it?
Yeah. I guess bad press is bad press.
But someone else. It wasn't just you, Mash. There's someone in the comments who said exactly the same thing.
Yeah. So I mean, to give people a sense of the scale difference between Prasa and Transnet, you can think of Prasa as being 5% of the total traffic and Transnet being the other 95. So they do get a bad rap for what is unfortunately not their baby. But they ordered I think 1,300 locomotives over the last 10 years that all fit in the tunnels correctly. So you don't have to worry about that. The thing is that it's very tricky, Gareth, because the wheels are turning very slowly. There are carriers that are pushing to get private licenses, and I think that started happening now where and again, the devil's in the details, is that it's a non-trivial thing to operate a train on the network.
Sure.
You think it's like driving a car where you can hop in and push the pedal and off you go. There's track knowledge, driver requirements. You have to understand where the hills are, where the lights are from a safety perspective, because a child will throw a rock at a light and you'll be driving past and the signal light might be red, but you need to know that there's a signal light there. Driving a big train is non-intuitive. You're often accelerating on the downhills and braking on the uphills because the majority of the train is actually behind you on the previous hill pushing you over. And so you need to be stopping going up and accelerating going down.
You see,
So-
I've never thought of that.
That's why I say the devil is in the details. And I think one of the things is Transnet does really well is they've got incredible driver training programs. They've got a whole school of rail out in Edenvale. But the catch is that the moment they bring private sector in to operate their own trains, how do you transition that safety requirement as well to protect all the rolling stock? So I think there are complexities around it, but there are upsides as well to moving in that direction. So yeah,
I know that it caused a huge amount of noise online this week when Helen Zille and Anele had an argument. I mean, the clip I saw didn't look like much of an argument. It looked like Helen, as usual, I've got all the facts, and here I am with all the facts. Give me some evidence. And Anele is just caught without any. So I don't know whether you saw anything different, but it was essentially about the neglected services in a place like Joburg. You live in Joburg. It's a mess, right? It's run very, very badly.
Yeah, Joburg has a problem in that I think for some reason local municipalities in Joburg thought that the job of government was sexy. And the job of local municipality is anything but.
That's the worst level of government. If you're into the sexy part of government, you better be president or cabinet minister level, because national government is dreary, provincial government's even less interesting, and then municipal government is basically just, why are the lights out?
Yeah,
why is that electric box not working?
There's a huge analogy here between railways and local municipality in that, railways provide these conduits to move huge amounts of stuff around very efficiently, right? And our water infrastructure is the same, right? We're moving huge volumes of water. If everyone had to drill a borehole in Joburg, this would be chaos. You want to move large quantities of things around. Our roads move large quantities of vehicles around. And our electricity grid is the same. It's not feasible for everyone to have a little solar plant where they run their own power supply. And so the first and primary role of local municipalities is to deliver these services. And that it really isn't sexy. It's hard grind. It's hard work. I mean, I have huge praise for administrators that do it well, because it can be a very thankless job in one way, and that you'll only ever complain when your water's not there. But you won't celebrate them when things function really well.
Right.
Okay, maybe they celebrate Cape Town quite well, but maybe because they've got the contrast, right? When everything's working really well, you won't even think twice about it. So yeah, it's an issue that we have very, very poor service delivery, and that's. At some point, the people will get upset about it enough that they will vote for someone different, right? And that's what you've got to wait for.
We can only hope so, and I think that's the point. But as I said to Leanne this morning, I mean, this woman's 74 years old now. She wants to be mayor of Joburg. You couldn't pay me enough to be mayor of Joburg. Would you want that job?
I wouldn't want it.
Not a chance. Would you want that job?
Not particularly, no.
No, absolutely not. But there she is, Helen, out there with the fire in her belly. I mean, I don't know how she gets it. So what else are you really passionate about in South Africa? I mean, you've taught me an enormous amount about what Transnet can and can't do. And trains are obviously an area of fascination for you. But what else are, to you, obvious areas of immediate improvement, low-hanging fruits, stuff that we can all get involved in and make better? Because it isn't just politicians, and it's easy to blame them because they are so shit.
Yeah, we could blame politicians or we could blame bad policy, right? Because the thing is, if you've got an ineffective policy, and it's called BEE in its current encapsulation, ineffective, then when you run the clock forward 20 years, you are 30 years or however long you want. So the problem is an ineffective policy is an ineffective policy. You're not going to grow your middle class. Our biggest problems at the moment are education and pipeline. If I were to say, I've got a couple of colleagues that work quite closely with the Mathematics Foundation and look at modeling exactly how school learners effectively get through schools. And again, a very difficult thing to truly understand, and the coalface, it's quite an ugly thing. And you have to ask some very hard questions in that, let's say, in that environment, because our education, let's think of this as a pipeline. So Anele did get very upset when Helen pointed out that the statistics suggest that two-parent households will breed successful children.
Yeah.
That's not a mark on Anele or anyone else. That is just saying that the stats speak for themselves.
Well,
the
it's
moment
true.
you've got more support at home, the odds of you being more successful go up, right? Generally, also, two-parent income households have a higher nutrition rate.
Yeah.
So the actual proxy here is better nutrition for kids, keeps them awake and alert in school so that they can learn more effectively. You have to keep them going to school. Don't let them miss school. And get them through the school process. Where we're kind of failing again, and this is on let's call it a government level, is that our standards of education are becoming, we're kind of dropping them as we go. And you see this on mathematics as one of these things that gives you a very clear marker, because it's not, I'm not marking an English essay where there are aspects of it which are subjective. But in mathematics, we have, last year this was this exam. If we give this exam to this year's students, how well did they do?
Correct.
And if
We
they
could
don't,
actually measure these things.
It's quite clear cut because we have very easy marking when it comes to mathematics. And when your math starts to drop off, a lot of other things fall off with it. Mathematics is at its core a set of axioms that give you an ability to reason or do logic around things.
Sure. You can work out very quickly how good at pattern seeking someone is from their ability to do a very basic algebra equation, or to
Correct.
figure out the angle that's missing in a triangle if you give them the other two.
You remember your matric maths
Yeah,
exam well.
but
There you go.
this is like a lot of people, and I was one of those people. Oh, when am I ever going to use algebra? When am I ever going to use trigonometry? But it's actually learning the process of inputting whatever the value might be into a formula that teaches you about the patterns that are going on in business, that are going on in nature, that are going on in society. So it is important to know these things. If someone lacks logic completely, as very many people in the world do, they usually are not the kind of people you want to put in charge of anything more complicated than a vacuum cleaner, because they'll fuck it up.
So if we take that dropping of standards, what you're really doing is denying people future opportunities, right? And governments, aside from offering...
Is that what they're saying, or is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. So let's look at this in the slightly bigger picture
If
for
you
a
drop
moment.
standards, you're denying people
Opportunity. And
Right.
let me explain why. So if you take, at a municipal level, government is supposed to provide water, electricity, sanitation, hugely important. Take a country like Sierra Leone, low sanitation.
And let's
highest-
just remember,
highest
nobody
infant mortality
imposed
rate.
these regulations on government. No one said you have to. Government, in their genesis, said these are the things we expect to do for the people.
Correct.
So they've set that goal for themselves. They need to live up to it.
That's a compact that you make. You elect these people and you
Correct.
say, we are expecting you to provide these services, and then
Right.
they don't
And
materialize.
by the way, those are the least of all the things that we should expect from them.
Sure, that's the minimum bar. Let's agree
And we
on
pay
that.
for those things.
We do. We pay a lot. So if you go one rung up from that, though, so we've got basic municipal services on the ground. The other thing that they're supposed to provide is an education pipeline and job opportunities. Government is not supposed to be the primary employer. That's not a sustainable model anywhere in the world. And what government's sort of obligation here is to make sure that they are lubricating the private sector and your public companies as much as possible so that they can grow. Because there are a lot more private companies and public companies and job opportunities in that sector. So the more you constrain that portion of your economy, the more jobs you're taking away from people on the other side. If I lower my standard of education, it makes previous candidates look more attractive to business. And so I've lowered your opportunity level again. Because I know that the graduate candidates that are coming out now are weaker than ones that came out 7 years ago. So if I've got to pick between them, I'm going to make the economically smart choice, right? For myself as an employer. So there's a lot of and the problem is now is it's a self-fulfilling cycle. So you have a 46% youth unemployment rate. So 1 out of every 2 youths coming out of school at the moment are not going to find a job, right? That is a catastrophic failure, and it puts a huge burden on the system, right?
That's why, like Mash said, the ones that are actually in employment are already taking their money out from retirement.
Yeah, well,
Scary.
You have one person carrying 2 people, right? And so that's a problem. And the issue is one of opportunity. Is there enough opportunity for people? Have you created the right incentives to employ people en masse or to even overemploy because you get a subsidy. So we're going back to the BEE thing here again. So if I'm getting tax rebates, I've got a quantifiable sum that I can put towards graduate programs,
sure.
STEM, upskilling, everything else. So there's lots of aspects to that. But the problem where it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy is that you have, no one wants to be a criminal, right? If I give you the option of earning a good salary or going out and risking your life trying to rob someone, you're going to take the good salary. The payoff is just not there. It's a hugely anxiety-fueled process. And you've got to have sympathy for what breeds criminals in South Africa. And it is a lack of option. It's a lack of opportunity. And that falls squarely at the feet of our administrators. The people that who have a moral obligation to make sure they maximize the opportunity to people. If you want to see insane growth in South Africa, you have to remove some of the friction around the job market so that you can actually have the offtake on that pipeline and then let the cycle loop back into itself. I think now, again, going back to my first comment about kids in 20 years from now, what do I want the job market to look like for them? Because unfortunately, there's almost nothing we can do for the next 10 years for the kids coming out of school. That's the harshest reality to stomach, right? Is that there's almost nothing we can do. But 20 years from now, we could have a very prosperous South Africa, but we've got to make very difficult decisions now about what we need to do in order to lubricate that system.
And don't think it's just South Africa, because every country is also dealing with these questions. All right, so last thing I want to ask you is I'm curious as to what you would like to do about this. I think you've got great ideas. You're clearly someone who's thought about these things long and hard, and we need people who are able to do that. Do you want to do something with this, or are you happy being in private enterprise? It's not something that you'd want to take on as a burden. The unsexy jobs in the municipality that you were talking about, not for you?
I already have multiple unsexy jobs. Okay. I sit on the trustees at our complex, and that's about as much administration as I can
all right.
handle.
You deserve a medal. Weren't you on that one, Mash, as well? You were on the
Which one?
Weren't you on the body corporate or something for a little while?
Oh, no, I wasn't on any.
Are you sure? I'm
Yeah.
sure you were at some flat that you were in.
I'd be a problem.
Yeah, you would be a problem. That's a horrible job, by the way. Ugh.
It has its upsides in that you should care about where you live, right? And so philosophically, it's the same. I would love for the people that maintain our area to live alongside us, so that when they get to experience the same water outages that we do, right? And so that is, would I be willing to do anything about it? I mean, I think this conversation, Gareth, in of itself is me doing what I can. I'm a nobody.
Sure.
You're a personality. You have personality, maybe both, a personality with personality. But I'm just a citizen. We endeavor as South Africans. We very much have a headstrong approach to, okay, well, we have this current crisis, we'll find a way to get through it. And, that's how we kind of operate.
We just leap from crisis to
we
crisis.
We do, but we've also got to think at some point we've got to recalibrate our long-term planning. So my contribution is we talk about the ideas, right?
I like it. I mean, there are probably people who are listening right now who are thinking of solutions based on things you've already said. And that's kind of how you start making a difference. It's the little things and in little directions. And I do think that we've got an opportunity to get a few things in this country right. We've done it before. We can do it again.
South Africa is a fantastic place, and it's mostly because the people are fantastic.
Yeah,
sure. And you can't. Everything else is rectifiable. It takes time and money and effort, and a single focus, which I think Cape Town is very fortunate to have had with the form of their local municipality that they've had. But everything else is fixable. Culturally, South Africa is in a wonderful place. We've got awesome sport this weekend, and that's like a huge uniting factor.
Yeah, I got into huge trouble with a friend of mine over the weekend. The public holiday. He's like, "Oh, were you watching the rugby?" So I said, "I don't care about the rugby," and he was horrified. Yeah, I know. Mash, you can't say that, right?
You can't say that.
Yeah.
You keep that to yourself, Gareth.
Homotso, by the way, says, "I think I'm in love with everything this guy says." That's you this morning, Rob. It's very nice stuff. That's all we got time for, though, this morning, everybody. So thank you very much for joining us. We will be back next Friday with a whole lot more. Send us emails, drop us a comment, watch the YouTube, like, reply, whatever. Subscribe, tell your friends to subscribe, people you don't even know to the channel. We don't care, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we don't mind. Join us next week, Friday, same time, same place. Have an awesome weekend. Ciao.
Ciao.
You're offering me money, I'll take now.
Okay, you take the money. Okay, so if you do take the money, then there can never be a cure for cancer. If you take the $1 billion. Are you fine with that?
Am I the one that started the cancer? Why is it my responsibility to end it? I didn't know. No one consulted me when the cancer was initiated. But now you're consulting me to end it. So how? I don't even know much about cancer, to be honest. So it's not. I think you people should probably have someone else try to end it. I'll take the money because at least with the money I can eat now. This is 4:30. I haven't eaten this money. If I had 1 billion, I will eat. I will never.